includes roughly $4 trillion in tax cuts, along with new funding for immigration enforcement. It also slashes Medicaid, which is a big point of contention. Republican House members say they're rushing back to Washington, D.C. for a possible vote tomorrow. The Georgia State Patrol releases new information in a deadly hit-and-run case in Henry County, hoping the public can help them identify the vehicle involved. The agency's reconstruction team is reviewing video footage related to the crash that killed a 16-year-old Tyleel Glazer. The teen was crossing Georgia 81 with friends June 21st when he was hit. The state troopers say they're now looking for a Toyota RAV4 with damage to the left side headlight and may have other damage on the driver's side as well. Anyone with information can call the Georgia State Patrol or McDonough Police. Workers for the city of Dunwoody are getting a pay hike today, and that includes those at the city's police department.
Dunwoody Police Sergeant Michael Cheek says it's a pretty big deal.
Everybody here at the police department is getting a 4.9% pay raise.
Cheek says it's one way to keep good employees.
The city really wants to invest in its employees, and that raise is one way of doing it along with the other benefits.
Cheek says a pay raise for all city employees also attracts new talent, noting he's already received a few new applications. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
A Metro Atlanta man accused of leaving his 2-year-old son in a hot car to die more than 10 years ago has been released from jail. The Cobb County Sheriff's Office says Justin Ross Harris was recently released after serving out a separate sentence for child porn. He was initially convicted in 2016 for the 2014 death of his 22-month-old son, Cooper, but the Georgia Supreme Court overturned his murder and child cruelty convictions back in 2022. Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic says tariff-related price increases may be slow instead of a one-time hit.
At a London event, Bostic said that tariff price hikes may be incremental, which could result in more persistent upward pressure on inflation. A divide has emerged among Fed officials over how tariffs are expected to affect inflation. Projections at the latest meeting showed 10 officials would look past the price impact and expect to lower rates at least twice this year. Others penciled in no rate cuts, suggesting they're more concerned that tariffs could lead to more stubborn price pressures. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti for 95.5 WSB.
A major car rental company is now using AI to detect damage left on its cars at its Atlanta airport location. Hertz says the UV eye scanner can bill you for a dent before you even leave the counter. Hertz hopes to install the scanners at 100 of its 1,600 airport locations by the end of the year. The scanners replace manual inspections and can reportedly improve accuracy and efficiency. It is 9:03. The Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. First, though, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Triple team traffic now with Ashley Frasca.
A little bit of an inconvenience trying to get into Buckhead on 400 South this morning. Certainly a few minutes of extra delay there because it's a work zone now. The right lane blocked with construction crews on 400 South before Lennox Road. A new tap of the brakes on the east side as you make your way up from I-20, the East Freeway on 285 North, just trying to clear Memorial Drive. With an update downtown, Andrew Seco.
Still seeing the brake lights 75-85 northbound leaving East Point. They catch you Langford Park where you're slow up towards Peachtree Pine Street. Southbound, we're stacking it a little bit 400 proper. Slow on 85 south down to 17th Street. Still have that road work in the right lane, says the DOT. 400 southbound leaving Sandy Springs, letting you go towards Lennox Road, exit number 2. Triple team traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy today with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms. Some may produce torrential downpours. Today's high is 87. Heavy rain for tonight, lows in the low 70s. Tomorrow, drying out with partly cloudy skies, high 89.
And right now, partly cloudier at 76 degrees in Kennesaw. McDonough, 77 degrees. It is 76 degrees again in Woodstock. We'll have more news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
What a wonderful way to start my day, listening to you, Cheryl Castro, give the 9 o'clock news. Welcome, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. The news is going to come fast and furious today. We have so much to talk about. We're going to go to D.C. The budget battle continues. Senate Republicans trying to get President Trump's big, beautiful bill. We'll go to Karen Travers in the nation's capital, get the latest on that. In case you missed Atlanta's morning news, Judd had on Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff, who has been up for about 24 hours on the Senate floor. In case you missed that, I'm going to replay a portion of that. We have Scott Slade joining us live at 10:35. This is a really big local story. July 1st, new laws go into effect today in Georgia. Scott Slade's going to join us live and break it all down, and very cool. July 4th, fireworks, hot dogs, and the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Mickey Sudo one of the best female competitive eaters. She's going to join us live. Very excited to talk about that. But I want to start with the story, Deborah, we talked about at the top of the show, the Idaho firefighter murders, right? That horrific story yesterday. No change. 2 firefighters still dead. 1 is critically injured. Getting new information, though, about the suspect. We are going to go live to Idaho a little bit later on the show, get an update from a local reporter there. But Nick Watt from CNN broke down the new developments for us over the last 24 hours.
There's an active shooter zone. They're shot. BC3's down, BC1's down. Everybody shot up here.
On a routine brush fire call on a sunny afternoon.
Sponsor battalion chiefs, gunshot wounds, multiple gunshot wounds. It's clear to me that this fire was set intentionally to draw us in.
Lit, authorities say, by 20-year-old Wes Raleigh, who, we're told, talked to firefighters when they first arrived on scene.
Here's some of his social media postings that were recently removed.
An Instagram story of the suspect, apparently armed and camouflaged, set to a song called Hunter.
This was a total ambush. These firefighters did not have a chance. We did have reports that he was shooting at first responders via a tree.
2 firefighters killed, a 3rd injured, fighting for his life.
We're friends and coworkers, and he's a great guy. We haven't lost a member in the line of duty for a very long time.
For hours, around 300 law enforcement personnel hunted the gunman or gunmen. They didn't know which. Shots were fired.
We had a cell phone activation. We honed in on that cell phone, and we saw that there was a male, appeared to be deceased, with a weapon nearby. We believe that there was only the one shooter.
Authorities now believe the suspect died by suicide. His grandfather told CNN he wanted to be a fireman. He was doing tree work, and he wanted to be a fireman in the forest.
We don't know if there's a nexus to that desire and what happened.
Coeur d'Alene now in mourning, paying tribute to 2 of their own killed in what city leaders are calling a senseless tragedy. And we now have the names of the men killed. Frank Harwood, 42 years old, married with a couple of kids. He was the fire and rescue chief for Kootenay County. Also killed John Morrison, who was a battalion chief with the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department. Injured an engineer with that same department, Dave Tisdale. Tisdale has undergone 2 surgeries and we're told is still in critical condition. Now, the suspect's family is now cooperating with officials. They send their heartfelt condolences to all impacted and say, quote, "We do not understand why this happened."
Nick Watt there from CNN. So we have some answers to questions we had yesterday, Deborah. The gunman's name's Wes Raleigh, 20 years old. And remember, we were talking, you and I, yesterday, about 24 hours ago, on the possible motive here. And we had 3 possible scenarios. You came up with the idea that maybe he had some sort of a fire in his life and the fire department didn't, act appropriately and respond appropriately, and he was upset about that. I said maybe it was a crime of passion. One of the firefighters stole his wife or girlfriend. And the third theory, and it looks like this is what the motive was, which is still asinine, that he wanted to be a firefighter, like he wanted to be a firefighter in the mountains of Idaho. And maybe he was denied service because apparently he had a pretty checkered past as far as criminal activities are concerned. So, again, no excuse, but it looks like that's the way that the motive is leaning here from the investigators. Oh, and the new information, he did kill himself. He did not die in that gun battle with law enforcement. But, I mean, I think Nick Watt used senseless, right? That just absolutely senseless. So again, the 3rd firefighter still fighting for his life, just absolutely tragic. And I didn't pass any fire stations today, but if you're in the firefighting community here in Atlanta, I don't know if you are able to do this, but I know there are American flags outside of every firehouse. Is it possible out of respect for the victims to lower the flags to half staff? I think that would be appropriate. Just an awful story. Jason Pack is a former firefighter, and he used to work for the FBI in their crisis management situation. On the new information we got about the firefighter murders and the suspect.
We've seen the public information come out from the Sheriff Norris there about this incident. And what they've learned is we've been talking about putting this timeline together, figuring out the pieces and the kernels and the breadcrumbs that might lead us back to the why of this case. They were able to find former roommates, former neighbors, former colleagues that he may have worked with, all with bits and pieces of information. So including sleeping in his car. And there was some information that firefighters asked him to move his vehicle at the brush fire. That came out yesterday. There was also a photograph, Sarah, of an Instagram post that the sheriff held up. All these things, when taken together, kind of paint the picture a little bit of what they may be looking at. So why would someone who wanted to be a firefighter attack firefighters? I think that's the million-dollar question, and why it might be too early to tell. Sometimes when somebody wants to be part of a close-knit family like the fire service, and for whatever reason they're not able to make it, that could be perceived as a grievance. And just something as small as asking him to move his vehicle may have been the last thing that set him off as a sign of disrespect or a grievance, something like that.
Not that it's going to make it any easier for the community or the families, but I think, Deborah, knowing that maybe that was the motive here was, he wanted to be a firefighter. It wasn't going to happen. Apparently estranged from his family. The authorities said there was no manifesto that they found yet. But they're going to do a digital search, and it's just, again, senseless, absolutely senseless. Later in the show, we're going to go live to Idaho, talk to a local reporter there, just to get a feel of what's going on in that community. Just senseless. That's the only word that's appropriate here. Senseless murder of the two firefighters, and thoughts and prayers for the one that's surviving, fighting for his life right now. All right, let's go up to Capitol Hill. The big budget battle continues. Karen Travers, White House correspondent from ABC, joins us. Karen, good morning. The voter-rama started yesterday during our show, and it apparently has not stopped. Where are we now on this Tuesday morning?
It's kind of wild to think about that it's been going on, and we've lived an entire day since then. Here is where things stand now. At this hour, there's no deal locked in on how the Senate is going to proceed with voting to pass this big budget and tax bill. But in a sign that it could be heading toward some conclusion, the Vice President, J.D. Vance, arrived on Capitol Hill just before 7 o'clock. He would be needed, potentially, to cast a tie-breaking vote on passing this bill. He also could be there just to keep negotiations going with some of the holdouts. He was asked if he thought that the bill would get over the finish line today, and he told reporters, "We're going to find out." They can only lose, Republicans, 3 votes, and 2 Republican senators have already signaled that they are not voting for this. Thom Tillis of North Carolina, Rand Paul of Kentucky. So there's a handful of others that right now are very critical to getting this across the finish line, and it's not clear where they are on this because they have big concerns with certain parts of this. Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins do not like the cuts to Medicaid, concerned about what this would do to rural hospitals in their state.
Aside from Murkowski and Collins, is there another possible no vote lurking that the Democrats can hope for?
So Rick Scott is also somebody that you're keeping an eye on at this point. Mike Lee, also somebody keeping an eye on because they haven't received a vote on amendments that they have put forward that would strip back additional funding for Medicaid. Like they want to see more there. So it's not clear, depending on how that vote shakes out, how that outcome could affect their vote. So it's kind of, one of those interesting things where if you're trying to appease one group that might be against it, that might tip the scale for the other group that's against it too. So it's a pretty tricky balance.
Yeah, and then that's just in the Senate. So even if it does pass the Senate, it's got to go back to the slim majority House, where you might lose votes if there are significant changes. You might lose House members on the GOP side.
And remember that the House version, which they wrote and they all had their say in, only passed by 1 vote. And this is something that the Senate did on their own. This is their own version that they would then say, here, pass this now, House members. They don't really like that sometimes, when they're just forced to take whatever the Senate passed without about making their own changes. And we've already heard from the House Freedom Caucus, a group of conservatives who they don't like what's in it, other members, some who are retiring, they don't like what's in this. So you could have a handful, a good number of House Republicans who say, no, we're just not going to vote straight up or down on this. We want to make our changes now to it.
We saw the political power that President Trump has. Tom Tillis announcing, I'm just going to retire. I'm not going to run for re-election. And now the world's richest man is entering the fray, saying he is going to primary anyone that votes for this bill. What can we read from that from Elon Musk?
Yeah, I mean, we knew he didn't like the bill before a couple of weeks ago. He was going back and forth with President Trump, and he was quiet for a while. And now, right on the 11th hour, I guess we're at the 25th hour at this point, as the bill is getting closer to the finish line, he is coming out very strongly, threatening to primary people who would vote for this, saying that it's now time for a new political party that he says actually cares about the people. He is railing against what this would do to add to the nation's debt.
Final question for you, Karen. They have the self-imposed July 4th deadline. As we get closer to the 4th, is that flexible? Is the president, open to moving that date past July 4th?
It certainly seems like it is, because it wasn't a date certain that had to be done because of some, big issue. It was just a date to give pressure, because that always looks better with lawmakers when there's some pressure to get them moving on something. But it's not like something happens if they don't get it done by this Friday.
Karen Travers, ABC News at the White House. Karen, as always, appreciate your time.
Have a great day. Thanks.
The way things are developing now on the Senate floor, it seems to me, and if you missed Senator Ossoff on Atlanta's Morning News, he said he's confident that the bill will pass the Senate. But I think what might happen now, again, I am not doubting the power of President Trump or Speaker Mike Johnson. They have come through time and time again when it looked like the chips were down and all was lost. But whatever version is passed on the Senate floor, and I do think it's going to pass, Karen had a very interesting line in there that there are really some fiscal hawks, some fiscal conservatives on the House side that might be no votes. And with such a slim majority, I'm actually more dubious that the reconciled bill will pass the House after it gets through the Senate. That might be a tougher task for Trump and Speaker Johnson, is getting all the House members in line, right? Herding cats. Because they're not going to like a lot of the changes that the Senate has to the, quote, big, beautiful bill. But obviously, a still developing story. I don't think that July 4th deadline is firm. But we will obviously monitor the comings and goings on the Senate floor with the big budget bill. Speaking of President Trump, he is heading down to South Florida to check out alligator Alcatraz, a story I am dying to talk about. I am fascinated with. But first, we got to check the ride on this Tuesday morning, looking at some delays on Georgia 400. Live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, here's Mike Shields.
And Mark, unusual delays, we'll say, on 400 southbound as you leave I-285, trying to work your way down the Lenox Road exit 2, where the DOT reports right lane roadwork. That's set up early this morning around 8:30. That's ruined the ride, leaving Sandy Springs into Buckhead. You can always use Roswell Road as an alternate around that. Also, roadwork setting up in DeKalb County, 20 eastbound past Wesley Chapel Road exit 68. That's in a right lane. This support is brought to you by Sam's Club. Ready for some locked-in summer value at Sam's Club till July 22nd. Prices are held over 1,000 items, including summer must-haves like ice cream. Sign up for membership and join at samsclub.com/join. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
If you have the WSB radio app,
all the notifications you
if
need.
you have the WSB app,
all the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app. Download it from your app store today.
We've all got one, and there's never just one thing on it. Your home improvement to-do list. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus. The Plus covers everything on your list. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, the owner of Painting Plus. We do it all, and we do it right. Trust the Plus family of businesses for everything on your list.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Hey. What's up, girl? The AC's done, and the company we were talking to quoted us $10,000 for a new system. What? And I'm totally overwhelmed.
Look, Reliable replaced my system last year, just $69.99 a month.
Seriously?
Yep, and it's full service. They cover all future repairs, maintenance, even the filters.
That sounds amazing.
Reliable Heating and Air makes replacing your AC stress-free. Any size AC, just $69.99 a month, 0 down with an unbeatable lifetime warranty. Go to reliableair.com.
First impressions matter, especially in the summer. Wise Guys Pro Wash will make sure your home makes the right impression. Soft wash, safe results, and zero hassle. Mention me, Chris Chandler, for $70 off your home, driveway, deck, or roof wash. Book at wiseguysprowash.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LIKE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LIKE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LIKE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hey y'all, Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care, and I'm not going to cry in this commercial, I hope. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I am so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. It's all because of the incredible caregivers who came to see them every day. I am so grateful to Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company that vets and hires every single one of their caregiving specialists. They don't have contractors. They're not some national corporation. They are simply the best here in Georgia. And a lot of you have asked me about my journey and if home care is right for your aging parents. I'll tell you what I tell them. Call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
Is this just the instrumental version? I was waiting to... All right, I'm sorry. Happy 54th birthday, Missy Misdemeanor Elliott. Sorry, Vin. I should have known. We're going to be playing some Missy today. And Fred Blankenship and I did I think it was for Missy's 50th birthday. We did a little thing on Channel 2 Action News that kind of went viral. So I'll try to find the audio there. But love Missy Misdemeanor. She's got to be making so much money in commercials. Just licensing, Deborah.
Probably.
Using, like, there's some window commercial that's using I Can't Stand the...
I Can't Stand the Rain.
Like, she's got to be making so much money on that. Very, very happy for Missy Misdemeanor Elliott. All right, we are going to go live to Idaho later on the show, get the latest on the murders there. President Trump just spoke to reporters on his way down to Alligator Alcatraz, the new detention center that's opening in South Florida.
How to run away from an alligator, okay? If they escape prison. How to run away. Don't run in a straight line.
Got a lot to talk about Alligator Alcatraz. We'll do that next half hour. I do want to update a local story here, Deborah, that pertains to the Aram family and anyone else that lives in DeKalb County. We've been bracing for a massive hike in our water and sewer bills. I actually thought it was already in place because Maya came up to me. She pays the water bill in the house. And she's like, what's going on? Our water bill doubled. How long are you showering or whatever? And I said, no, I think that's because of the price increase. But maybe I am taking too long showers because DeKalb says they are not increasing the water and sewer bill yet.
Well, DeKalb has had water issues since as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
I lived there first when I moved here, and they were planning to do this 10% annual rate increase starting today, and that would run for 10 years to try to fix some of these problems they have. Well, that's been postponed because the county hasn't actually finalized the contract, so they want to make sure that is done before any increases kick in. And then they're not sure, do all the residents know what's happening, what the changes are? Because 10% would, again, it would start, that would add about $7 to your bill, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is to the average family. And at the end of the year, that'd be $180. Again, a lot to add to your monthly budget.
Well, the fact that folks didn't know about, like Maya didn't know about that, and I'll just say that's because we're new DeKalb residents, but now I'm concerned that our bill went up, it doubled before any of these changes went into place. That's scary. So maybe I got a leak or something?
I was going to say, check for some leaks. You never know. Are you watering the grass or flowers or anything?
Well, without this rain, there's no need to water the grass.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
And I'm showering daily to everyone's happiness here, but we're not. I mean, the dogs are maybe drinking more water. I'm drinking
Not
a lot.
that much more.
No, I'm drinking a lot of coffee out of the Keurig and the espresso machine. By the way, in the espresso machine, oh my God, if you love coffee, that's the way to go. I might just get one for the traffic center here.
Is that the George Clooney one?
No, that's the espresso machine. Smile and Mark McKay got it for me for our wedding gift.
Yeah.
And it's more expensive than Keurig and homebrew.
Yeah.
But it is so good. Like I went free balling this week. I had like 4 Nespressos. Maya's like, you can't be nilly-willy in the Nespressos. So I went to Target and bought a bunch of different. But that's a game changer. You looking for a gift idea for a coffee lover? That and espresso machine. Smile and Mark McKay. He's not even working today. He might get star of the show. All right, we're working to get a local reporter on from Idaho. We are monitoring what's going on with the budget bill. And as if there weren't enough news today, jury deliberations started yesterday in the Diddy trial. Apparently the jurors asked the judge, like, hey, we've got an unruly juror in here that's not listening to your orders. What can we do? And the judge's like, deal with it. You got to follow my orders. And it was a 51-year-old male scientist. That's his job, a scientist on the jury, and he's not following the rules. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention it. If the jury comes back with a verdict, we will certainly let you know here. When we come back, though, in-depth coverage on Alligator Alcatraz, a massive new deportation site set to open in South Florida in the Everglades. We will update that for you live. Next, social media is active throughout the broadcast at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
Bugs bugging you? Better call Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters. And Breda is proud to sponsor Scotts Lake, Georgia, every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Hi, this is Megan, your friend and jeweler from Shane Company. Did you know not all warranties are created equal? At Shane Company, our free lifetime warranty is all-inclusive and even protects the diamond in your engagement ring. We can offer such an incredible warranty because our rings are crafted to last a lifetime. As your friend and jeweler, our gift to you is peace of mind. At Shane Company, we also cover unlimited repairs, resizings, and cleanings for free for life, saving you thousands over time. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
You've been needing a new roof to battle the elements. If you replace your roof this month, you'll be helping battle childhood cancer, too. Hi, it's Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show for my friends at Finley Roofing. The roof guys. The only thing they like better than protecting your home from the elements is giving back to the community. And once again, Findlay Roofing is proud to support the WSB Care-a-thon, benefiting the Aflac Cancer and Blood Disorder Center of Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Findlay will donate $100 from every roof replacement sold between now and July 25th. Findlay guarantees a donation of at least $10,000. With Findlay, manners matter. They treat your home like it's their own, but they don't stop there. They treat the entire community like family. When children are battling cancer, Findlay is there because we all live under one roof. The community. Get started now. Schedule your free roof analysis at FindlayRoofing.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic,
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 9:30. Good morning to you. I'm Cheryl Castro. Our top story. The Senate is still at it. Senators continue their so-called vote-a-rama that started nearly 24 hours ago, all on amendments to the Republican budget package. Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff tells Atlanta's Morning News it's bad for Georgia.
Whether it's Georgia's economic development, our hospitals and healthcare system, or the Affordable Care Act benefits that help middle-class families afford health insurance premiums, this bill is terrible for our state.
Supporters say it cuts trillions in taxes with no taxes on tips and overtime while cutting out waste. Republican House members say they're rushing back to Washington, D.C. for a possible vote Wednesday once it passes the Senate. President Trump wants a so-called Big Beautiful Bill on his desk by Friday, July 4th. It's July 1st, and that means a number of new laws take effect today here in Georgia. Among them is an expanded child care tax credit, which is sponsored by State Senator Brian Strickland. He says it'll allow parents to claim a $250 credit per child under 7 years old.
As a legislature, we believe that families shouldn't have to choose between having a career and being a parent.
Also beginning today, a state law requires transgender athletes play on sports teams that match their biological sex. Plus, the Fentanyl Eradication Act increases the penalties for people trafficking that deadly drug. Updating Israel at war at 9:31, Israel's prime minister says he'll be in Washington next week to meet with President Trump. Benjamin Netanyahu and President Trump have expressed a wish to end the war in Gaza.
How are they going to make that happen when Hamas wants to definitively end the war? Right, and until now, Israel's been unwilling to agree to that, and a full withdrawal of every Israeli troop from Gazan soil, and the Israelis have refused to do that too.
Jordana Miller reports the next move may be speaking with the new Syrian government, where Israel and Syria would agree not to attack each other, similar to a deal between Israel and Iran. Traveling may be easier for those in the military. The TSA is adding special security lanes at the airport for active duty service members. The TSA will also offer TSA pre-check discounts for military families. Gold Star families, or those who have lost a family member in the line of duty, will have their TSA pre-check enrollment fee waived. The Department of Defense says there are about 1 million active duty service members. The Georgia Public Service Commission is expected to take up a plan today that would freeze Georgia's power's base rates for 3 years. Governor Kemp touts the agreement reached in May.
Our rates are stable, even in the midst of unprecedented growth, because we have a strong, reliable energy grid.
But some consumer and environmental groups are still pressing for more information about the latest rate request. They cite questions about profit margins and Georgia Power's plans to recover storm-related costs. Well, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers will reopen 7 additional parks at Lake Lanier just in time for the July 4th holiday weekend. This comes after a number of closures recently because of staffing shortages. The reopenings are thanks to a 1-year staffing arrangement with Hall and Forsyth counties. Van Pue North and Van Pue South are the only 2 parks that will remain closed this weekend. It's 9:33, time to check traffic and weather as we go live to Mike Shields now in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
And Cheryl, wants to stall a vehicle, get moved to the right shoulder just south of I-20 on 285 northbound. The Interloop approaching Cascade Road, exit 7, all lanes back open. Those delays are quickly going away there. Still seeing delays as you leave Sandy Springs into Buckhead with roadwork set up 400 southbound before Lennox Road. Exit 2, that's reported in a right lane. Also, left lane reported with roadwork. 285 eastbound, the Interloop ramp to Ashford Dunwoody Road, exit 29. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms. Some of these storms may produce damaging wind gusts later this afternoon and this evening. Today's high is 87. Heavy rain for tonight, low 71. Tomorrow, the rain moves out, becoming partly cloudy, high 89.
And right now, you're mostly cloudy, 77 degrees in Decatur, another 77 for Smyrna, Lawrenceville, 78 degrees. More news at 10 o'clock, a breaking news when it happens. I'm Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Coming up on the Wednesday edition of Atlanta's Morning News from 5 to 9, Christina Edwards updates your 5-day forecast to get you through the holiday weekend. Will this upcoming dry pattern stick with us into next week? The traffic team will help you get around any issues that might pop up on the roads. We've seen some passionate debates from Capitol Hill, the very latest in the budget battle in Congress. And Clark Howard looks at a new state law that could get you tax credits for childcare. When you wake up tomorrow, tell your smart speaker to play 95.5 WSB for Atlanta's Morning News.
Good morning. We're we're going out to Alligator Alcatraz.
President Trump heading to Alligator Alcatraz, new detention facility in the Everglades. In-depth coverage in 2 minutes on the Mark Arum Show.
It's time for Zero Res Air Duct Cleaning Summer Sale. Take advantage and get 15% off all cleaning services. Mention Chris Chandler to secure this deal today or book online at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zero Res, all they leave is clean.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
It's Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I've got something important to talk to you about, your 401k. If you have changed jobs, there are two very important considerations. You don't want to leave your 401k behind, and you don't want to roll it over into your new company plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. 401ks will often have limited investments or age-based options. Since companies have to make choices to suit all employees, they may not be suited to you, which could cost you fees and money. When you roll over your 401k into an IRA, you not only keep your money growing tax deferred, but you also gain access to a world of investment options specifically designed for you. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have helped thousands, and we can do the same for you. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
9:37 on this fast-moving news day Tuesday. A lot of big stories. We're covering the budget battle on the Senate floor. We'll go back to D.C. for the latest there. New information and the assassination of those two firefighters in Idaho. We will go live to Idaho there. Scott Slade joins us, by the way, in an hour live. July 1st, new laws in effect here in Georgia. Scott will break them down for us. But I teased it before the break. Alligator Alcatraz, apparently new detention facility in South Florida in the Everglades. Covering the story for us, correspondent Rory O'Neill. Rory, good morning. President Trump's heading down. When to Alligator Alcatraz?
Well, the president is visiting today, and we'll spend a couple of hours there today. Look, this place is essentially an old airstrip right in the heart of the Florida Everglades. I think it's 39 square miles of property. So there's no danger of anyone actually escaping this site and getting to anywhere between the gators and pythons and crocodiles. Oh, my. But a lot of concerns about the conditions these people will be living under and whether or not it can be safe.
How big is this facility set to be?
Well, it will run alongside what is an 11,000-foot runway. So it's essentially just going to be a line of tents alongside the runway and to house more than 1,000 migrants. We haven't gotten a lot of detail, though, about who the migrants will be. Are they convicted gang members, criminals? You know, they always talk about the rapists, the drug dealers, and the murderers. Or is it someone who, you know, just works as a hotel maid and overstayed her visa? We don't know. Will there be women and children? Is it just men? And then this is all being run through Florida's Division of Emergency Management, not the Department of Corrections. So the emergency management has hired contractors to come in and put up these facilities, but who's going to be guarding them? What are their qualifications? Are they law enforcement officers? What if there's a brawl? You know, you're going to have 1,000 guys. Let's assume there are 1,000 convicted rapists, murderers, and drug dealers. And they're in a tent together, and it's 98 degrees with mosquitoes and 100% humidity. We're not expecting fights.
Yeah, you said tents, and I was like, wait, so these are tents? It's not a permanent structure that these detainees, up to 5,000 of them, will be held in?
No, it's they're just going up in tents. Again, this is pretty much just an airstrip. There aren't a lot of facilities there. This was going to be a big development in the 60s and 70s that was abandoned for environmental reasons. But yeah, it's essentially going to be large tents. Now, they talk about the air conditioning, but we believe the air conditioning for the tents is only for the workers, the employees, because there will be facilities there for legal representation and for processing and things like that. And then now and we believe, again, we've gotten very little information. We believe that if you look at some of the images that have been caught by helicopters, there are lots of trailers out there. We believe those trailers are for the employees who will live on site because it's so remote, you almost can't ask people to drive in every day. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Correspondent Rory O'Neill joining us on the Mark Arum Show. You're familiar with Florida, obviously. How remote is this location? I'm told there's only one road that goes in and out of this facility.
Right. There is one road in. It sort of covers both Collier County, which is Naples on the Gulf side, and Miami-Dade County, Miami on the east side. So it spans the two counties, but it is right in the middle of the Everglades. And there is just that one road in and out, again, which is why we think most workers will actually live on site for some period of time. And again, while the contractors are being brought in, I heard the governor in an interview say they've offered up to make some National Guards members the actual immigration judges here to process some of these claims as to whether or not people can be deported more quickly. How long the people will stay is unclear. What kind of medical facilities will be available is unclear. A lot of unanswered questions. It's going to cost about $450 million a year to operate this facility. The governor using emergency authority, getting this thing stood up with promises that the federal government will reimburse the state. And there are plans to open up a second one of these closer to Jacksonville.
Logistically, though, let's say it's full, 5,000, and let's say there's 1,000 people that have to work there. Just getting food and water into the facility might seem like a tough task, which is why we're seeing that $450 million annual price tag.
Well, right, and it's going to be, we saw trailers have been brought in by the hundreds anyway, tying up that one small road that has access to it. Yes, they can fly in a lot of support. Perhaps the Florida National Guard can help bring in some things. And then what kind of conditions are you going to have? Again, it's going to be muggy, miserable down there. I don't have to explain what heat is like to you, but now you go live in a tent outside that may or may not have air conditioning for, I don't know, are you there for 48 hours? Are you there for 4 months? We don't really know.
Well, Rory will be camping out there this weekend to give us a first-hand account.
And what happens what do we do when a hurricane approaches? How do we get them out?
Unbelievable.
Where do they go?
All right, Rory, interesting stuff. As always, appreciate your time, my friend.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, a lot to unpack there. First off, President Trump wanted to redo regular Alcatraz out on the left coast, and it's a museum now, and I think he soured on that idea, but I know he loves this alligator Alcatraz idea. I thought it was going to be just a regular prison, like a Supermax prison in the Everglades, which I think is, a pretty good idea. You're worried about people escaping. Well, you put it in the Everglades, and there's 80 million things that can kill you in the Everglades. But a lot to unpack there from Rory. First off, these aren't structures, Deborah. They're tents.
I know.
So you're going to have, if you're putting the baddest detainees in tents, with, not behind bars, in tents, that I think there'd be a lot of conflict issues. And imagine trying to be a prison guard in Alligator Alcatraz, where the inmates, quote, inmates, the detainees, are not behind bars. They're in tents, like trying to keep them. I don't know. I foresee a lot of problems. And one of the big problems is, first of all, a prison guard, that's one of the toughest jobs. I could never do it. If you've done it, bless you. That takes a special person. Growing up, one of my best friend's dad was a prison guard, and he'd come back and tell us stories. And I was like, I don't know if it was like a scared straight situation where he was trying to prevent me and his son from ever doing anything bad to wind up in jail. That's probably where my fear of jail originates from. But even if you have it in your DNA to be a prison guard, who is going to want to work in the Everglades in the heat and the mosquitoes and everything? And as Rory said, living in trailers. Like, who is so into that job? They're like, oh, yeah, I volunteer. I would love to work at I don't know how you're going to staff that thing unless you force people to do it like the National Guard. I don't know. In general, if you want to build a supermax prison down in the Everglades, I think that's a good idea. No one's going to want to escape, right? Vinny, you said your favorite movie is Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, right? They were in prison the whole time, and everyone tried to what? Escape the farm.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you're in the Everglades, you're going to roll your dice and try to avoid the alligators and the snakes and the python, all that, or you're going to be like, all right, I'll just I get it as a deterrent for prison breaks, but I don't know if this is well thought out. And $450 million a year. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. I would listen, if they want to build a prison there, I'm all for it. A prison in Alligator Alley. Have you ever driven, Deborah, Alligator Alley, by the way?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Alligator. I hate driving that stretch of road.
That's a scare. The first time I did it was in college. I've done it a bunch since. But that's a scary drive because there's only like one gas station on the whole strip, or there used to be. I haven't done it in like a decade, but it was like, you better be full. Your gas tank better be full when you start that trip, either east or west on Alligator Alley, because you don't want to run out of gas in the middle of Alligator Alley, obviously. My parents used to make that drive all the time. They'd go down to Naples for the winter, and then they'd drive east to visit my family in Fort Lauderdale area, and I would be scared for my parents. Like, two older folks driving. Anyway, I digress. I like the idea of building a supermax type prison, but you got to have permanent buildings, and you have to have, where are the prison guards and the medical staff and everybody that works where are they going to live? Imagine you talk about a tough commute. Where's your new job? Oh, it's Alligator Alcatraz. What? How long's that commute? Oh, it's like an hour and 30 minutes through the Everglades. Yeah, I don't know if that's completely thought out through, but we'll see. President Trump's on his way down there. All right, when we come back, we're going to update our top local stories for you. Still monitoring the budget battle going on Capitol Hill. Again, John Ossoff, Georgia Senator, joined Atlanta's Morning News. He says he thinks the bill will pass the Senate. The question is then, with that reconciled bill, will it pass the House of Congress? Will House Republicans be on board with the changes that the senators make? Obviously, a still developing story, and we'll provide updates for you throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB. Checking the Tuesday morning drive now. Back live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center. It's Mike Shields.
And Mark, good news in West Atlanta. Just watched a crash clear from the left lane, I-20 westbound as you approach I-285 exit 51. All lanes back open. Those delays quickly gone now. Still seeing delays, though unusual delays out of Sandy Springs into Buckhead, 400 southbound as you approach Lenox Road exit 2 with right lane road work jammed back to 285. You can always use Roswell Road or Peachtree Dunwoody as alternates. This report is brought to you by Peach Pass and the new Peach Pass Go mobile app. The Peach Pass Go mobile app helps you get there faster with new and improved features and more coming soon. Download the new Peach Pass Go mobile app today at peachpass.com. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
Is your summer vacation going to be a week at the beach or a week in the backyard standing in the kiddie pool?
If you listen to 95.5 WSB, that week at the beach could be yours. It's $1,000 Thursdays on WSB.
Your chance to win $1,000 every hour between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. on Thursdays.
Listen for the keyword. Enter the keyword at WSBradio.com or on the WSB app within that hour.
Get all the info at WSBradio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays this Thursday.
From 95.5 WSB.
Where Atlanta wins.
What's the deal with your floors? They feel uneven and bouncy when you walk on them. Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show, here for AquaGuard Foundation Solutions. Sound familiar? You need to check out AquaGuard. See, AquaGuard knows these signs could point to major damage building up in your crawl space, which will only get worse over time. But don't worry, AquaGuard knows crawl spaces. They can identify your issues and repair them. Simply go to aquaguard.net now and set up a free inspection. Remember, AquaGuard.
Hey folks, it's Belinda. What you have planned this weekend? How about visiting the Lakewood 400 Antiques Market in Cumming, Friday through Sunday this weekend? Grab your spouse or your friends and go on a treasure hunt with over 500 booths. Everything you can imagine, from jewelry, collectibles, sports memorabilia, antiques, furniture, handcrafts, and toys. Every aisle and row is a different adventure. Come on out this weekend to the Lakewood 400 Antiques Market, 1321 Atlanta Highway in Cumming. Visit LakewoodAntiques.com.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, Atlanta's engagement ring and wedding band destination since 1939. Why? Hand-picked diamonds that just shine brighter at a value that can't be beat. An unbelievable selection of engagement rings and wedding bands. And because we've been jewelers for generations, we can bring your dream ring to life with full custom abilities. So when it's time for the next chapter, come see Atlanta's most trusted jeweler since 1939, D. Geller & Son, in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Better prices, better views, window comfort, meant just for you. Window Comfort.
Imagine the relief of windows without annoying drafts or high energy bills. Window Comfort's making it easier than ever with buy two, get two free, no payments till 2026, and expert one-day installation. Go to windowcomfort.com for your no-pressure estimate today.
Better prices, better views, window comfort, meant just for you. Window Comfort.
It's been over 2 years since Bobby Carpenter had regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics. He needed relief from knee pain, but he wanted to avoid surgery.
I thought I might have to have my knee scoped, had some injuries, some lingering pain from stuff that I had been dealing with from years of playing professional football, and things had kind of flared up again. I started talking to a friend of mine who was orthopedic, and he was like, well, try to avoid surgery if you can.
And you absolutely can avoid surgery. QC Kinetics provides patients with state-of-the-art regenerative treatments, orthobiologics from your own body that help heal and restore damaged, aching joints. And we'll let Bobby tell you about that.
It was all of a sudden that one day, a couple months later, I was, let's go jog, let's try to see what I could do. And the more I did, I was pain-free with it, and it was actually a pretty remarkable process.
Before going under the knife, see if you're a candidate for non-surgical joint pain treatments at QC Kinetics. Call them today.
Call QC Kinetics, 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see "Get a phone on us," get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses.
That's Blues Brothers, Dan Aykroyd. Happy birthday, Mr. Aykroyd. 73 years old today. I don't believe we've ever had him on the show, Deborah. Oh, you know what? I take that back. This might have been pre-Deborah Green, which I've blocked out of my mind. He was pitching some sort of alcohol. He's a tequila, like all celebrities got into that tequila. I think I had him on the show, but all he wanted to talk about was booze. He didn't really. Yeah, I'll have to check the archives. Speaking of archives, some breaking news here, if you don't mind. If there are any engineers here listening, can you come into the studio during the 10 o'clock news break? I keep getting this warning about the studio computer, Deborah.
You know why?
Why?
Because Shelley saves way too many things
on
that computer.
Oh, you know about it.
Yeah, and I think they've told him to back it up, but he, it's Shelley, so but yeah. Well, he told me this the other day. He's like, I can't do this, and it's not working. And I think engineers you got to clean this computer.
All my stuff is shutting down because of lack of memory.
Yeah,
and I'm
it's Shelley's fault.
So I just took everything that I have and put it on a flash drive, but I'm still getting these warnings about insufficient memory up, but that makes sense because I share this computer with EVH and Shelly and Dr. Joe. Yeah, have a seat. Oh, it's vodka. We got some breaking news on top of our breaking news, Deborah. Anyway, if there's an engineer listening, I'd love for you to come in and clear up some of Shelly's crap off the desktop so my computer doesn't shut down. I mentioned Dan Aykroyd. I think I had him on talking about an alcohol, and Ken Charles,
vodka,
head of state here at WSB. It was a vodka.
Vodka.
And you have a bottle of it right now.
I have a bottle of it, autographed by Dan Aykroyd.
No way.
Yeah, we had him in my previous stop for the 40th anniversary of Ghostbusters.
Okay.
And he was going to talk about everything other than vodka.
Yeah.
But we brought the vodka in, A, to get his autograph on it, and B, we sit and drank vodka with him while we talk Ghostbusters on the air. It's really good.
All right. How attached to you are to that autograph?
It's autographed by Dan Aykroyd. I'm very attached.
All right. So you wouldn't want to put that up for auction for the Carathon, which is coming up at the end of the month.
No, but I'll shave my beard, which has been here since 1986.
I don't want to see a beardless Ken Charles.
You know, for like 10, 15 grand, I'll shave my beard.
I got freaked out when we went to Japan because I shaved out of respect for the culture and meeting Maya's grandparents again.
You mean your body or your face?
Well, just my face for the sake of radio. So I shaved, and I didn't recognize my face, sans beard. And even Maya's like, your face is weird. When we get back, grow your beard again. So I don't even want to see, Deborah, do you want to see what a beardless Ken Charles looks like?
I could put one in AI.
Oh, yeah, do it. Let's see what an AI says about it. All right, anyway.
I can show you a picture of it, but I've had this beard since 1986.
Wow.
I am more than willing, for the right amount of money, to shave it for the kids at Carathon.
Anything for the kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So that's very well. Do you still have Aykroyd in your Rolodex? Because I'd love to get him back on.
I might.
All right.
It's possible.
Ken has the biggest. Vinny, do you know what a Rolodex is, by the way?
No, come on.
No. You know what a Rolex is?
I know what a Rolex watch is.
All right, but he didn't know what a little black book was or a Rolex. Anyway, Ken
thanks
Charles.
for making me feel old.
There you go. Happy birthday to Dan Aykroyd, 73 years old today. Loved him, and he actually spent time in Atlanta when they filmed Driving Miss Daisy. I do remember talking to him about that, yeah, because I was like, all right, enough about the vodka. Let's talk about your movie career. And he played Miss Daisy's son in Driving Miss Daisy. All right, excellent. Thank you, Ken Charles. And again, I'm still waiting for an engineer to come in here and clear Shelly's stuff off of the. No, it's fine. I've deleted a bunch of stuff, and we'll get through the show today. Don't forget, folks. By the way, since the boss is here, $1,000 Thursdays returns this Thursday. Amazing. 7 chances to win on Thursday, $1,000. So we're giving away $1,000 on Thursday, 7 times an hour, 7 Thursdays during the summer. I'm going to give you keywords during my show, 9, 10, and 11. And then you just take that keyword and enter it into the WSB radio app, and you'll be qualified to win $1,000. Last Thursday, we gave away $3,000, and this Thursday, we're going to give away $3,000 just here on the Mark Arum Show, $7,000 throughout the day. So a good reminder, if you haven't already downloaded the WSB radio app, download it now. Make it easier for you to enter. All right, we got news, weather, and traffic, 3 minutes. When we come back, the very latest on the budget battle going on Capitol Hill. State Farm Arena breaking some records. We'll talk about that local story. And there's apparently a brewing trade war going on between the United States and Japan. I've got thoughts on that. Social medias, we got them. They're active at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
It's our 20th anniversary at North Georgia Replacement Windows, and we're celebrating with our biggest sale in company history.
It's Ted and Jonathan. For a limited time, save 25% on beautiful Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows and doors.
Celebrate with us and upgrade your home's energy efficiency, comfort, and curb appeal. Window and door shopping made simple.
Hurry, 25% savings ends July 31st.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
If you've got a 401k or an IRA, I've got some bad news for you. Well, unless you love paying taxes. Hi, this is Troy Reagan from right here in Atlanta. I'm a best-selling author, award-winning film producer, and creator of the Reaganomics Roth Conversion Strategy. IRAs and 401k accounts can be a tax disaster. Required minimum distributions can destroy your savings because when the market drops, you are still required to take a withdrawal and pay taxes on it. The bad news is that the RMD is usually calculated based on your balance before the loss, so these withdrawals lock in your losses forever. Converting to a Roth IRA solves the problem down, but people don't do it because they don't want to get clobbered by a huge tax bill. Thankfully, there is a solution. It's a powerful strategy I created that allows you to convert IRAs and 401ks into a tax-free Roth with zero money out of your pocket. You heard right. You can convert your IRA or 401k to a Roth without paying the tax bill out of pocket. Call 1-800-291-1414 now to get a free Roth conversion analysis and see if you qualify to get the huge benefits of a Reaganomics Roth conversion. 1-800-291-1414. That's 1-800-291-1414. Again, that's 1-800-291-1414.
It's officially time for Zero Res's annual summer sale. Take advantage and get 15% off all cleaning services. Mention Chris Chandler to secure this deal today or book online at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zero Res. All they leave is clean.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk. News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
It is 10 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. This just in at 10 o'clock.
All right, you've heard staff's recommendation. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye with disappointment. Any opposed? All right, R2 passes unanimously.
That's the Georgia Public Service Commission voting. They have just approved a Georgia Power rate freeze. Georgia Public Service Commissioner Tim Echols.
Freezing these rates shows that we're listening to ratepayers and we're doing all we can to protect them, but continue to grow this economy in this state.
And the PSC voting to freeze rates for the next 3 years. All right, your weather for today, mostly cloudy, scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day, and then continuing into the evening. Afternoon highs around 87, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes. There are a number of new state laws on the books today.
One measure bars transgender athletes from playing on teams that don't match their biological sex. Governor Kemp calls the bill common sense.
Girls should not have to share a playing field, a restroom, or a locker room with boys.
Another bill increases the penalties for fentanyl traffickers, something cheered by Gus Walters, whose son died from an overdose.
If they have fentanyl in their possession, somebody's going to die.
Taxpayers will also see a benefit with an additional state income tax cut going into effect and an increase to the child tax credit. Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Well, it's still up in the air if Republicans will have the votes to pass the sweeping budget and tax bill known as the Big Beautiful Bill. There are holdouts in the GOP over Medicaid. Some think the cuts are too much, while others think it doesn't go far enough. Democrat and Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff talking to Atlanta's Morning News today about his opposition to the bill.
This bill, I think, is a disaster for the state of Georgia. You know, we're now and again in the 24th hour of debate and votes here in the Senate.
And he says while some Republicans are holding out, he does think it's likely to pass along party lines. So what's in the bill? For more on that, we turn to Rachel Scott.
The bill includes roughly $4 trillion in tax cuts and new funding for immigration enforcement and fulfills some campaign pledges like no taxes on tips and overtime. It also guts Biden-era clean energy initiatives and slashes Medicaid, despite pledges by the president to not touch the program.
Here's what I want on Medicaid. We're not touching anything.
The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office predicting the bill will result in some 11.8 million Americans losing their health coverage over the next decade.
Be sure and check back for updates. We'll be watching. We'll let you know what happens. This is new at 10 o'clock. Atlanta police need your help in finding a murder suspect. Crime Stoppers just now releasing new pictures and a video of a person of interest in a murder. It happened on June 6th on Collier Drive. Police say they got a call that day just before 6 p.m. of a person shot. When they arrived on scene, they found a 17-year-old dead. Anybody with information being asked to call Crime Stoppers. There is a $5,000 reward also connected to this. We have posted that video and picture at WSBRadio.com. More than 72 million Americans expected to travel for the 4th of July holiday. AAA saying most will travel by car, for the busiest travel days being tomorrow and Sunday, July 6th. The TSA expecting to screen more than 18 million air travelers between today and next Monday. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow's currently up 100 at 44,195. NASDAQ is down slightly, and so is the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather, brought to you by Dr. Roof. Andrew Seco joining us now with a look at the roads. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabrina. We're watching a slow spot as you leave Sandy Springs, just south of 285 and 400. We got barrels in the right lane, says the DOT as you approach Lennox Road. That's exit number 2. Already seeing the delays back and you pass 285. You may want to hop on Highway 9, save you just a little bit of time through here. Watching an unusual cone zone for this time of the morning, heading up out of Norcross into Duluth. 85 northbound, seeing the right lane coned off on the jam cam, getting towards Beaver Ruin Road, exit number 102. and a little bit of stoppage through downtown. Not a whole lot northbound. The brake lights catch you at University Avenue. You're slowing and going off that pedal just a little bit, approaching Peachtree Pine Street. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy today with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms. Some may produce torrential downpours. Today's high is 87. Heavy rain for tonight. Lows in the low 70s. Tomorrow, drying out with partly cloudy skies. High 89.
It is 79 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta, 79 in Johns Creek and Powder Springs. We'll have more news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Tuesday morning to you. Mark Arum here, you there. It's 10:04, 4 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Arum Show, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. Extended fam with us today. Deborah's the executive producer of the program. Vinny Two Slices filling in for Longoria on the other side of the takeout window. WNBA expert Harlan screens your calls. Coming up in 30 minutes, Scott Slade's going to join us live on this 1st of July. A lot of new laws in effect here in the state of Georgia. Scott's going to break it down. Right after that, Mickey Sudo, competitive eater. She is amazing. She's going to join us live, taking place in the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest on July 4th. And then 11:35, we're going to talk to Bloomberg News. We've heard from the Atlanta Fed chair, and we've heard from Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, what that means for interest rates. I do want to go live to CNN here for a second, Vinny. We've been talking about Alligator Alcatraz, the new site down in South Florida that is going to host in the Everglades 5,000 detainees. Let's see. Vinny says I can't do it. I believe I'm going to be able to do it, Vin. You trust me? You trust me, buddy? Can I do it?
I think you can do it.
All right, let's go. Let's go to CNN down in the Everglades, covering President Trump's soon-to-be arrival.
Florida and the federal government, and of course, immigrant rights advocates who call this cruel punishment. Take a listen.
We've been down this road before, right? I mean, we saw this.
All right, that's all I was able to get. Anyway, we can't go live yet. Can we go back live? No, Vinny. Anyway.
We need more engineering again.
Really? You just push Longoria just pushes a button and
the board.
The board. All right. Anyway, we're going to talk about Alligator Alcatraz in just a second. But while we have a second, the top of the show, we talked to Karen Travers, White House correspondent, talking about the big budget bill. Let's get the latest from Capitol Hill from Arlette Saenz.
Well, Sarah, the Senate's about to hit the 24-hour mark in that marathon voting session on President Trump's domestic agenda bill. Now, the president, as he was speaking to reporters at the White House, said that he would be open to potentially shifting that July 4th deadline, which this is this coming Friday. There is still a lot of work that both the Senate and then the House would need to do in order to get this bill passed. Vice President J.D. Vance has been up here on Capitol Hill this morning as they are trying to push this bill across the finish line. He told reporters we're going to see whether they can get that done today. Now, these senators have been working around the clock voting on these amendments, but there are a few key senators to keep in mind. We learned just a short while ago that Senator Rick Scott had proposed an amendment relating to the federal share of Medicaid payments, that amendment will no longer be voted on. There is also a lot of attention being paid to Senator Susan Collins and where she will land on final passage of this bill. And then there's Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. Senate leadership was actually huddling with her on the back of the Senate floor for quite some time, a bit earlier this morning, and in another instance overnight. There have been some provisions that would have benefited her state that have been struck from this bill. One of those coming overnight from the Senate parliamentarian who ruled that one provision relating to Medicaid that would have affected Alaska could not be included, though they did allow for a carve out on food stamps. So senators are trying to work Murkowski as they need to hold together this GOP caucus. The Senate can only afford to lose 3 Republican votes on this bill. You've already seen Senator Thom Tillis and Senator Rand Paul vote no over the weekend on advancing this bill. So they're trying to work with this very tight math. Now, overnight, these senators have been finding ways to occupy themselves. You've seen senators walking around with either coffee or energy drinks in between votes. Senator Thom Tillis Angeles, even playing a game of hide and seek with his family members who are watching on TV. So this is all some of the things that senators have been trying to do to keep themselves occupied as this grinding vote continues. And we'll see in a matter of time whether Republicans will have the votes for final passage of this bill in the Senate. And if it passes in the Senate, it still has to go over to the House.
Yeah, big news there. So it's Arlette Saenz on Capitol Hill. 2 no votes already. As Arlette said, the Republicans can stand to lose 3 votes. Murkowski and Collins getting a lot of attention, as they always do, but they always seem to come back into the fold. But there were some, Arlette mentioned there's some things that could impact Maine and Alaska in this budget bill. So a lot of, I'm sure, deal making going on behind the scenes. On the other side of the aisle, Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff joined Atlanta's Morning News with Judd Hickenbotham this morning.
Judd, thank you so much for having me, and good morning, everybody. This is your Senator Jon Ossoff, and yes, we have now been voting and debating for about 24 hours straight, and I am deeply concerned about the impact that this bill may have on Georgia. Now, there are a few Republican senators who are bucking their party leadership and opposing these deep cuts to Medicaid, the repeal of key Affordable Care Act provisions, and the attack on the renewable energy industry, all of which are going to be very, very difficult for Georgia. But I do suspect that this will pass with party line Republican support. And I just want to lay out, the expiration or repeal of these Affordable Care Act benefits alone means that middle-class families in much of Georgia are likely to see multi-$1,000 per year increases in health care costs. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution analysis was that more than 300,000 Georgians may lose health coverage from that provision alone, and then gutting the Medicaid program is going to put Georgia hospitals in a very difficult position. While this bill adds literally trillions of dollars to the national debt, most of this being used for tax cuts for top earners. So this bill, I think, is a disaster for the state of Georgia. And we're now and again in the 24th hour of debate and votes here in the Senate.
I wanted to ask you particularly about, I know there was one amendment in there that got voted on about rural hospitals getting more funding for them to kind of cover some of the costs that are going to be cut in this bill or could be cut. It seems like you and our other Georgia Senator, Raphael Warnock, two of maybe the only Democrats who voted in favor of that measure. Is there, some sticking points between Democrats on which way to go with this?
No, the Republicans have proposed a $1 trillion cut to Medicaid. A $1 trillion cut to Medicaid. And that's going to be devastating for hospitals in Georgia and rural hospitals in Georgia. It's going to result in substantial loss of health insurance coverage for Georgians. These deep Republican cuts to Medicaid, something I want to remind folks of is that 70% of seniors in nursing homes in Georgia are on Medicaid. Half of all births in Georgia are covered by Medicaid. 40% of all children in Georgia are covered by Medicaid. So when you talk about a $1 trillion cut to the Medicaid program, it's going to have a devastating impact on health care in Georgia. The other thing I want to highlight is this bill is basically a targeted effort to destroy the renewable energy industry, which is bringing billions of dollars of private capital and job creation to the state of Georgia. There's all this new solar manufacturing, electric vehicle manufacturing, battery manufacturing across the state. Georgia is really leading the nation in these emerging industries. And this bill is an attempt to really strangle that industry. So whether it's Georgia's economic development, our hospitals and healthcare system, or the Affordable Care Act benefits that help middle-class families afford health insurance premiums, this bill is terrible for our state.
That's Senator Jon Ossoff this morning on Atlanta's Morning. I'm going to stop there because that's what I want to talk about. I understand there's a lot of concerns about Medicaid. I'm not well-versed enough to know what kind of waste, fraud, and abuse is in Medicaid, but I know a lot of folks are going to lose their health care coverage. But what the senator talked about there was the renewable energy aspect of this big, beautiful bill that really guts all of the incentives that we have seen in the last 8 years or so for renewable energy. And the impact here on the state of Georgia, the senator mentioned the solar industry and electric vehicle industry. Obviously, you think about what the new industries here in the state of Georgia over the last decade have been buoyed by, this renewable energy sector. But aside from the impact that these cuts will have on jobs and growth here in the state of Georgia, I just think long term, and Elon Musk and I are actually in agreement on this. Electric vehicles, obviously, that's Elon's baby. He wants to preserve everything he can to keep that train rolling as far as EVs are concerned. But to me, it's solar energy that is really what we as Americans need to focus on moving forward. If you think about how much energy we are going to need moving forward, just think of how much more energy we're using now than we were 20 years ago. We talk about these data centers that are popping up everywhere and the amazing amount of energy that they are using. You talk about increased temperatures. We've been feeling it here in Atlanta last week, right? It gets to 99. What are you going to do as a household? Well, if you want to stay comfortable, you're going to run the AC a little bit longer. That takes up a lot of energy. Getting more clean water to areas that are in droughts, that takes a lot of energy. Desalination of water, which I think is going to be big in the next 100 years as we see increased droughts around the globe. You can take salt water and make it drinking water through the desalination process, but it requires a lot of energy. My point is we're going to be needing more energy, exponentially more energy as the years go on for a variety of reasons. The data centers, climate going up or going down. It's going to cost more to heat your home in the winter or cool down in the summer. Like energy is a big deal. And we're going to have to rely on all the natural resources we have here, right? Natural gas and coal and nuclear. But Elon and I agree on this. The biggest source of energy in the solar system is the sun. If you've been outside in the last couple of days, mid-afternoon, you look up at that freaking ball in the sky that's making everything 100 degrees. That is an untapped, unlimited source of energy. And we have not done, not just here in the United States, but I think globally, but we're behind the rest of the world when it comes to solar. That absolutely is going to be a huge factor moving forward on our energy production. And you talk about less reliance on foreign oil. Well, solar panels will do that. Solar panels will absolutely do that. And I'm not just talking about, like Clark Howard has solar panels on his home. That's great. I don't have that. I'm not to that point yet. But I'm talking about massive solar farms. One of the advantages we have in the United States is our square acreage. We have so much land here compared to other nations. You think Canada as well. Russia, China, like big countries compared to like our European allies, or they're little tiny guys. We have so much land here. A lot of that land is going to have to be developed as solar farms because there's so much energy we can be getting from the sun that can make our lives easier as we need more and more energy use moving forward. I'm with Elon on this 100%. I'm not going to talk about electric vehicles. I know how you folks feel about them. You're not on board with them yet. But as far as energy production, solar is huge. And it's going to be huge. And we better jump on the bandwagon. So if I were on the Senate floor, left, right, or center, and I was trying to talk about this budget, I would be pushing for those solar tax credits to be back in there. Because we need to be ahead of China and Russia on solar. I won't be here in 100 years, but I guarantee in 100 years, solar energy is going to be the most frequently used energy sector that we have in the United States and globally. Vinny, you'll be here in 100 years. You let me know. You go to my grave and be like, Aram, you were right. It's solar, my friend. It's solar. All right, we're going to President Trump now speaking to reporters down at the Everglades Alcatraz. Did I get that right? No, Alligator Alcatraz. So Vinny has fixed it. Now we can get some audio. So we'll hear what President Trump has to say down there, and we'll update our top local stories. But first, on this Tuesday. It's actually not that hot yet, just 80 degrees in Midtown, which is relatively cooler than it was yesterday. How are we doing on the roads, Andrew Seco?
A little bit lighter than we usually see around Metro Atlanta as well. Mark, lighter than normal. 400 southbound, we do have a little bit of extra stoppage as you leave 285 on your way towards the Buckhead area. Got barrels in the right lanes as you approach Lennox Road, exit number 2, about 10-15 extra minutes in your commute time leaving Sandy Springs. We do have some trouble in and out of Snellville. Overturned vehicle crash, only the right lane's getting by either direction. Highway 78 right there at Ross Road. Allow for some extra time. Cuba close to that brake pedal getting through here. And a little bit of stoppage through Midtown, downtown, northbound. You're feeling the pinch as you're merging north and south on the connector. Riding the brake lights all the way up towards North Avenue. This sports sponsored by your neighborhood Kroger Pharmacy. Kroger Pharmacy welcomes Express Scripts, Medicare, DN, TRICARE, Department of Defense plan members. You can transfer prescriptions at Kroger.com/payer update. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
In Atlanta, there is always something happening.
Tanker truck crashed into the median.
The Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
No traffic getting through in either direction.
Helping you on your commute.
Avoid the area at all costs. Take Highway 155 or Highway 4223.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Better prices, better views. Window comfort, meant just for you. Window comfort.
Don't be fooled by the big box brands. Window Comfort's exclusive window line is custom built for Georgia weather, installed by in-house pros and guaranteed never to fog. With factory direct pricing, it's affordable for everyone. Go to windowcomfort.com for real quality that lasts.
Better prices, better views. Window comfort, meant just for you. Window comfort.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Private Selection Angus 80% lean ground chuck is on sale. 16-ounce packages are $5.49 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Skeeters biting you? Better call Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters. And Breda is proud to sponsor Scott Slade, Georgia, every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Hey, what's with the frog?
He's going swimming.
In the living room?
Yeah, in our carpet swamp.
Water pooling in your carpet or floor? You've got a leak. Call Delta Plumbing, the educated plumber. With over 50 years' experience, they are the leak experts. Using state-of-the-art leak detection technology, they'll find and fix your leak without guessing games.
How fast can you get here?
Leak detection at educatedplumber.com. Problem solved.
Best deal ever for the best service ever when it comes to the hair situation on your dome. Hey, friends, it's Mark Aron back for my pals at Advanced Hair. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair summer sale event on for a limited time. I want you to get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 470-660-HAIR, 470-660-HAIR. Summer sales event, best deal ever, limited time offer. Don't wait a second longer. Whether you have a receding hairline or bald spots, make sure you get the job done right with Advanced Hair. Simple one-day treatment, and your new hair begins to regrow on your own head the very next day, and they guarantee your hair will grow for life. One-day treatment, life-changing results with Advanced Hair. Your new hair guaranteed to grow. Get your appointment now, 470-660-HAIR, or online at advancedhair.com.
What you walk on in your home should be wonderful.
Hi, I'm Michael, proud founder of Authentic Hardwood Flooring. Your summer vacation is going to be awesome, but coming home to those floors won't be. While you're gone, let our highly trained installers transform your space. Just imagine coming home to beautiful new floors. Our promise is to make your flooring process painless. Our focus is to make it perfect.
Authentic Hardwood Flooring offers high-quality craftsmanship with an exceptional customer experience. AuthenticHardwoodFlooring.com.
A DUI conviction could cost you your career, threaten your way of life, and even compromise your future job prospects. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler. With all this on the line, trust only the best. George Stein, the DUI lawyer. Go to georgestein.com.
Music make you lose control. Music make you lose control.
Snakes are fast, but alligators are. We're going to teach them how to run
away from an alligator, okay? If they
President
escape
Trump,
prison.
that was before he actually landed in the Florida Everglades to Alligator Alcatraz, what appears to be, I would guess, a temporary detention facility that could house 5,000 migrants. Just tents, though, not actual buildings, trailers for the folks that work there. We'll try to get more reaction from President Trump as he went down to Alligator Alcatraz in the Everglades this morning. Do have an update on the Russia-Ukraine war. While Russia continues its heavy bombardment of Ukrainian cities, a weapons factory deep inside Russia suffered heavy damage in a Ukrainian drone attack. BBC's Danny Eberhard has more.
Video footage online captured one of at least 2 strikes targeting the Kupol weapons factory in Izhevsk. The plant manufactures air defense systems, but it seems not to have been able to protect itself. It's not clear what damage was caused. Ukrainian public media quote a source in the country's security service as saying the long-range attack showed there was no safe zone for Russian military infrastructure, even far from the front lines.
Sorry, sir. In the meantime, really, it's been put on the back burner, the Russia-Ukraine war, ever since the Iran strike, the successful Iran strike by the B-2 bombers. By the way, knock on wood, that ceasefire is still holding. I believe we are going to hear some audio later in the show from the Iranian foreign minister about what's going on with any sort of negotiations between Iran, the United States, and Israel. Sad news. Deborah, we not too long ago, we gave away tickets to Willie Nelson and gang right here on the Mark Arum Show.
Yeah, the Outlaw Music Festival.
Yeah, Outlaw Music Festival. So the Outlaw Musical Festival tonight, the concert in El Reno, Oklahoma, has been canceled.
Yeah.
At 92 years old, Willie Nelson still loves getting on his bus headlining his 2025 Outlaw Music Festival tour.
Just can't wait to get on the road again.
But the show in El Reno will not go on because heavy rains and winds ruined his stage equipment in Ridgedale, Missouri.
Look, it's all coming out.
The crowd waiting to see Nelson, along with other tour headliners, including Bob Dylan and Sheryl Crow, had to evacuate the aptly named Thunder Ridge Nature Arena. Willie says his famous guitar Trigger is okay, and the Outlaw Tour will be back on stage July 4th in Austin, Texas. Michael Toscano, CBS News.
All right, I feel better. I thought it might have been because of health reasons that he had to cancel, but it was weather reasons. 92. Speaking of concert venues, State Farm Arena breaking box office records here. How many tickets has State Farm Arena sold?
Well, have you been to a concert at State Farm Arena?
Not recently, but yes, I have.
Everyone in the world else has, because State Farm Arena grossed the 3rd highest box office revenue out of all large venues here in the country, only behind the Sphere, which is very expensive.
Oh
to go to
my
the Sphere.
gosh,
and
yeah.
then, yeah, and Madison Square Garden, which has like an event every night. It brought in about $76 million, 60 events between October and March. That's just over 500,000 visitors that went to concerts, wrestling events, even truck rallies. It does not include Hawks games.
Interesting. Well, congrats to State Farm. And that's even a bigger number because we have so many amazing venues here in Metro Atlanta, right? You've got Amerisbank Amphitheater, the Fred, Fox Theater. So the fact that we have so many amazing venues that State Farm was able to break records. And at least I've made it through the entire segment without calling it Phillips Arena. So I think
Hasn't been Phillips Arena in a while.
I know, but in my head, it's still Phillips Arena. But congrats to State Farm Arena. That's big, big stuff. All right, July 1st is here, which means new laws take effect today in the state of Georgia. What are those laws and how do they affect us? Scott Slade's going to join us live and break it down next on The Mark Arum Show.
When it comes to your home, quality is crucial. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus. The Plus means siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. Quality comes first. We have the most experienced exterior craftsmen in the industry.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Market volatility isn't slowing down.
If you're nearing retirement, now is not the time to wait and see. Every day of uncertainty can put your future at risk. It's time to diversify. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I want you to know you can create certainty, locking in guaranteed income for life. This means predictable, stable cash flow, even in turbulent times. You've worked too hard to leave your retirement to chance. Right now, there are options to receive up to 30% upfront or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't wait. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any examples provided are hypothetical. Annuities are issued with prospectus and sales brochures and should be reviewed carefully before funding as features and benefits vary. DBA in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Hey y'all, Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care. And I'm not going to cry in this commercial, I hope. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I am so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. It's all because of the incredible caregivers who came to see them every day. I am so grateful to Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company that vets and hires every single one of their caregiving specialists. They don't have contractors. They're not some national corporation. They are simply the best here in Georgia. And a lot of you have asked me about my journey and if home care is right for your aging parents. I'll tell you what I tell them. Call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 10:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by your Metro Atlanta AMCO dealers. The Georgia Public Service Commission voting this morning to freeze rates. The 6 rate increases that Georgia Power customers have endured in the past 2 years delivered a record profit of $2.4 billion for Georgia Power in 2024. PSC Commissioner Tim Echols.
Since the pandemic, the state of Georgia has seen employment, personal income, the size of our economy all grow faster than the national average. That economic performance would not have been possible without the investments that our ratepayers made in our energy system.
Now the PSC voted to freeze rates for the next 3 years. All right, your weather for today, mostly cloudy, scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day, continuing into the evening. Afternoon highs right there around 87. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes. There's a heat wave in Europe. Barcelona reporting its hottest month of June since records started over a century ago. And England experienced its warmest June on record. Erin Becht is visiting London from New Zealand.
Like we're used to the heat, but it's more than we've ever had. And then here, like trying to sleep at night, it's the same problem. Like it's just as hot as it is in Spain.
In London, temperatures are close to 90 degrees. A man found dead in Douglas County. Now police asking for the public's help in identifying him.
The sheriff's department is hoping somebody out there can give them some clues as to who the man is that was found in the Chattahoochee River back in May. He's a white male with several tattoos, including the initials SL and a Sanskrit phrase on his left arm, a full back tattoo, and several other tattoos on his torso and upper body. Officials say he's missing 3 front teeth and, based on his clothes, may have been experiencing homelessness, living in either Cobb, Douglas, or Fulton County. Deputies are hoping that somebody's going to recognize the man by this description and give them a call to help identify him. Michelle Wright, 95.5 WSB.
Now to Washington, as the big beautiful bill is being debated, the tension between the president and Elon Musk is heating up. Linda Kenyon is following that.
Elon Musk, the former head of President Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, the DOGE, is blasting the president's big beautiful bill, and the president is hitting back.
We might have to put Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon.
Musk vows to boot out Republicans who vote for the bill.
He's losing his EV mandate, and he's very upset about things, but he could lose a lot more than that.
Congressional Republicans could pass the bill by July 4th.
All right, be sure and check back for updates. And traveling may be easier for those in the military. The TSA today say there's going to be adding special security lines at the airport here in Atlanta for active duty service members. TSA will also offer TSA pre-check discounts of military families. Gold Star families, meaning those who have lost a family member in the line of duty, will have their TSA pre-check enrollment fee waived. And according to the latest numbers from the Department of Defense, there are about 1.13 million active duty service members. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow's up 281 at 44,376. So the Dow's up more than 0.5%. NASDAQ's down about 0.5%. And the S&P's down slightly. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco joining us now from the Traffic Center. He has a look at your roads.
Found some new trouble as you're heading south into Stockbridge. Good to crash. It's in the right lane. 75 southbound approaching Hudson Bridge Road, exit 224. The back door taking you up towards Mount Zion Boulevard. A little bit slow leaving the Morrow area, but no need for an alternate. Just a quick tap of the brakes heading closer to the McDonough area. Watching the cone zone south of 285 out of Sandy Springs into Brookhaven. We're in the right lane. 400 southbound approaching Lennox Road. That's exit number 2. And a little bit of a slow spot leaving Duluth. 85 southbound. No crashes or stalls. Just the car in front of you. Some volume taking you from 316 all the way down towards Jimmy Carter Boulevard. Exit number 99. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms. Some of these storms may produce damaging wind gusts later this afternoon and this evening. Today's high is 87. Heavy rain for tonight, low 71. Tomorrow, the rain moves out, becoming partly cloudy, high 89.
It's 80 degrees in Kennesaw. Brookhaven has 79, and it's 79 degrees right now in Tucker. We'll have more news at 11 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
When the news matters to you.
The massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The latest incident comes when a SWAT team is called after a suspect.
Your 24/7 news
They
source.
had no ties to a gang.
When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
I don't know. I think we'll have to take a look. We might have to put Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon.
Wow, President Trump not mincing words with Elon Musk. We'll update that tete-a-tete still to come on the show. But next, new laws in Georgia, what it means to you and me. Scott Slade joins us live in 2 minutes on the Mark Arum Show.
Hey, if you got weekend plans, make sure your home is ready for them. I called Wise Guys Pro Wash, and boom, the house, driveway, and patio were spotless. They even cleaned the roof. I didn't even have to be home. They are truly professionals using the top equipment in the industry, and their soft washing kept my home safe and damage-free, and the results, incredible. Wise Guys has more than 2,000 five-star reviews, and I know why now. So mention me, Chris Chandler, for $70 off your next service. Book today at wiseguysprowash.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
10:36 on this really busy News Day Tuesday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. Coming up in just a little bit, Miki Sudo, competitive eater. She is going to be taking part in the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest on July 4th. She's going to join us live in about 15 minutes. Right now, though, we welcome back to the show our longtime friend and colleague on this 1st of July, Scott Slade. Scott, good morning, my friend.
Mark, good morning. It's good to be with you. And you aren't kidding. This is a news-rich day today. I just heard the Georgia Public Service Commission approve that plan to freeze Georgia power rates through at least 2028.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're talking about solar a few minutes ago, and cost, including Hurricane Helene relief, will be addressed in a separate proceeding after the first of the year, they say. As of today, Mark, schools can start direct payment to college athletes. I wonder what the Georgia Bulldogs payroll.
Well, Scott, that's such an interesting story. So it's the whole NIL, name, imaging, licensing thing, and it's changed the landscape of college football. And I wonder how much longer Kirby Smart's going to want to be dealing with that, because I fully believe that Nick Saban quit Alabama because he didn't want to deal with having, to figure out a budget on paying his kids.
Yeah, well, again, it's even beyond NIL now, right? I
Yeah.
mean, these are like salaries.
Salaries,
direct
yeah,
payments.
exactly.
Direct payments. Oh, this will help. As of today, Hero units are back to 24/7
Yes.
service on Metro Atlanta interstates. And it's New Year's Day in Georgia. The state fiscal day year begins today on July 1st, and among other things, the new state budget kicks in. Now, look, these numbers could be dry as Melba toast, Mark, Melba toast in an oven. But listen, I've always heard that, hey, if you want to show me how you really feel about things, show me your budget. And it's a $37.7 billion budget signed by the governor. It kicks in today for the new fiscal year, and it includes some big investments in prisons, health care, and education. $250 million to help prop up the state prison system. You keep hearing about vacancies among staffers in state prisons that make things dangerous for the ones who remain. And gosh, in some prisons, it's up to 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah, got to do something about that.
Now, you might not have the numbers available, Scott, but that $37.7 billion state budget, do we know if that's an increase or a decrease over last fiscal year?
Oh, gosh, I just don't know. I'm pretty sure, well, like everything else, it's likely gone up. And that's the state's part of that. The feds will add another $20 billion, I think it is, 15 to $20 billion on top of that to get us to around $50 billion total. So, yeah, everything's going up. However, we do have a state budget surplus, and the governor has made it his business to lower tax rates wherever he can get the legislature to go along. And as of today, the state's flat income tax rate dropped slightly from 5.39% to 5.19%.
Yeah, I think the goal is to get it under 5, too, in the not-too-distant future, which is fantastic.
Yeah, right on, 4.99%. Now, of course, that always makes the argument come up, well, why can't we go like Tennessee or Florida and do without a state income tax altogether? That would be an earthquake here in the state.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people would go along, because the money's got to come from somewhere. And whether that comes from property taxes, visitor taxes, maybe something new in the way of an airport tax, I don't know. But at least this is turning the battleship slowly, which, you need to do to keep it from tipping over.
Well, obviously, I mean, things have been successful. We've had the budget surplus, and I believe some people might have even gotten that tax refund hitting their direct deposit from the state.
I've heard 40% so far.
Yeah, not me. I keep logging in to see if it hit, but it's not there yet. But obviously, that's welcome news to anyone that's looking at those upcoming AC bills. It'd be nice to have that money in the checking account.
First of all, you had to have paid taxes. Okay?
Yes. Oh, I did. I did.
And, right. Yeah. And it's $500, I think, married, filing jointly, $250 for individuals. Something to help Georgia families here. Georgia's Child and Dependent Care Tax Credit kicks in today. It's a new $250 tax credit for each child under the age of 6. Hey, let's check some of these other laws. You got a second here for this?
Yeah, of course.
Going into effect today, law and order, sentences and penalties for small amounts of fentanyl trafficking in Georgia are now harsher to help fight the opioid crisis. People wrongly convicted can now seek compensation when prosecutors acted improperly, meaning defendants can actually reclaim attorney fees. New Georgia laws now in effect include a statute requiring school sports teams to be designated by sex. That's the Riley Gaines Act of 2025. It prohibits biological males from competing on female teams and restricts access to restrooms, changing areas, and overnight accommodations. This, you might argue that this is really great. Students can no longer be kicked out for just being absent too much.
Really?
Yeah. They can no longer be kicked out as of today. A lot of folks think that absenteeism is a symptom instead of disease. And this new state law directs schools to come up with programs to help keep kids in school rather than just excluding the ones who don't want to come anymore.
Interesting. I wonder what the threshold is for expulsion, or what it was for expulsion as far as excessive absenteeism.
I'm sure it varies school system to
Well, I know Ferris Bueller, I think it was 10 days, and he had taken 9 days off, and so he was one away from getting in trouble with Mr. Rooney, Principal Rooney.
Obviously, it does affect your grades.
Yeah,
So
for sure, absolutely.
You need to be in class. Your digital driver's license is now okay in Georgia. Your mobile driver's license is legally valid. Just remember to keep a physical copy, too. Addressing a long-time epidemic of catalytic converter thefts. Those can cause thousands of dollars of damage to a vehicle just for a few bucks worth of platinum for these thieves who crawl under your car and take a hacksaw and rip you off. Georgia now adds registration and record-keeping requirements for selling used catalytic converters. So they cut out the fence. It is now illegal to sell puppies, kittens, and other pets in public places in Georgia, including parking lots, roadsides, parks, flea markets. Only licensed dealers allowed to do that.
I'm glad you brought that up. So when Maya and I were in Japan last week, we were at a mall there, and they had a pet store in the mall selling, puppies and kittens. And I said to myself, are those even a thing in the United States anymore? Are there pet, Deborah, are there pet stores still around, or have those gone by the wayside? I don't know. Have you seen any, Scott?
Oh, yeah. They're still around. But most of them are like in strip malls and freestanding.
Interesting. Okay.
And I don't think this does anything for the people who are giving away kittens or puppies in
No.
a cardboard box at the discount store. So, and I had no idea this was a thing, Mark. Human composting is now legal in Georgia.
I did see that. We talked about that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Bodies can now be composted into the soil. The process is also called terramation.
Yeah.
This new law allows funeral homes and other licensed businesses to establish composting facilities in Georgia. There are no such businesses in Georgia that do that now, but there are other states that have them who say they will cooperate with local funeral homes in case you want to compost a loved one.
I'm good.
Families can keep the soil produced by the composting process and spread it in the garden or use it to plant a memorial tree. And you're welcome to dig as deep as you want into this to find out how it works. Basically, microbes break down the body, a process that takes 30 to 60 days. It's then placed into a curing bin to rest and further stabilize for another 30 days. Human composting is considered more sustainable than cremation and traditional burial, which uses embalming chemicals and requires land. And basically, they pack the body in a steel container with straw and sawdust and other composting-type materials and dig it up 60 days later, and you're off to the races.
Well, bless your heart if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Now, it's July 1st. This isn't a new law, Scott. We do have some breaking news on this 1st of July.
So where is Hector?
Word from Waffle House that egg surcharge is gone. So the 50-cent surcharge from eggs. Not a state law, but it is not. It is got. Oh, one more thing on food, Scott. I know law is going to affect, but I think today is the first day that the official state bread of Georgia becomes official. I believe it's cornbread.
It
is now the official state bread. I don't know. That's like the Hatfields and McCoys, biscuits versus cornbread on what should be the state bread.
Well, the official state bread goes very well with the new official state stew. Do you know what the official state stew is?
It better be Brunswick or I'm leaving.
It is.
All right, good.
It is. It is Brunswick stew, and the people in Brunswick are quick to point out it was indeed invented there instead of Brunswick, Alabama, Brunswick, North Carolina, or Brunswick in any other state.
There we go.
There you go.
We got
It's a
it down.
momentous day. Happy New Year to everybody in the state of Georgia.
There you go. Scott Slade, invaluable resource for WSB and the Mark Arum Show. Scott, have a safe 4th, and we'll talk to you next week, my friend.
Mark, that sounds great. Have a great day.
There you go. You as well, Scott Slade. July 1st, new laws, human composting, and cornbread, the official state bread of Georgia. All right, when we come back, speaking of 4th of July, the Nathan's hot dog eating contest coming up. When we get back, Miki Sudo. She is one of the world's best competitive eaters. She's going to be taking part in that Nathan's hot dog eating contest. She joins us live next on the Mark Arum Show. But first, on this warming Tuesday, let's go back and check any traffic hotspots live with the latest. Andrew Seco.
Watching a slowdown by the home of the Braves, 285 southbound the outer loop. Watching some pothole repair right there at Cobb Parkway, that's section number 19. A bit of a tap of the brakes through here, spilling on to 75 proper as well. The brake lights catch you passing South Marietta Parkway, exit 263. Slow leaving Sandy Springs, 400 southbound. On your way to Brookhaven and Buckhead, a right lane blocked off here approaching Lennox Road, exit number 2. Crash has been cleared out of Snellville, Highway 78 right there at Ross Road. All lanes lanes back open. Delays thinning out quite nicely. And still a bit of a slowdown through Stockbridge. 75 southbound. Looking at the crash. Still blocking the right lane as you get towards Hudson Bridge Road. Exit 224. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
What would you do with $1,000 this summer?
Hotel, pool, week at the beach, cabin in the woods.
Whatever you want to do this summer,
WSB has $1,000 to make it happen.
$1,000 Thursdays gives you the chance to win $1,000 every hour between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Listen for the keyword at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. and 12, 1, 2, and 3 p.m.
Enter the keyword at WSBradio.com or on the WSB app. Within that hour,
You could win $1,000. Get all the info at WSBradio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays this Thursday.
95.5 WSB, where Atlanta wins.
Heavy rain, high winds, huge hail. Yes, Atlanta, we're in storm season. It's Mark Aram here. You might be faced with a roof repair or a replacement. Do not gamble with any contractor, and there are hundreds of roofers with little to no experience. I want you to trust the experts at Dr. Roof. Trusted name in roofing for over 35 years and backed by their industry-leading warranties. Dr. Roof doesn't cut corners. They're the best at protecting your biggest investment. Dr. Roof, done right, guaranteed.
When someone's AC is on the fritz, drains are clogged, or wall outlets are sparking, Castile Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical never asks, how soon do you need it fixed? You know why? Because no one in recorded history has ever said, oh, take your time, just whenever you can get to it. We just assume how fast can you get here will always be the answer. So Castile will be there same day, and we won't leave until you're 100% satisfied. See? Sometimes it's good to assume. It gets your AC fixed fast. Book today at CastileAir.com.
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate is the easiest way to sell your home. Now you can save time and make the most money and eliminate all hassles this summer. Hey, Sean Hannity, Mark Spain Real Estate can sell your home with the strongest all-cash offer in the industry and help you move on your timeline. With over 67,000 satisfied clients, you can trust the most experienced real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home fast. Go to markspain.com and start packing.
Yeah, about 12, 13 years ago, I remember sitting in the house watching TV when I noticed that one of the walls looked different. It was a darker shade than the rest of the walls. Upon further investigation, it was soft and wet to the touch. You know, not having any plumbing in that area, there's only one real explanation. My roof was leaking.
Dave Baker for Finley Roofing, the roof guys.
So I needed a new roof. Like any major repair for my house, I checked out a bunch of companies. Only one company passed all my criteria, though, Finley Roofing. The roof guys. Finley Roofing was the perfect match when it came to getting a new roof. Turned out they really are the extra effort experts. They treated my home like it was their own, tearing off the old shingles, installing new ones. They were neat and cleaned everything up, and I didn't pay anything until the job was complete. Right now, Finley is offering upfront pricing, 0% financing, and a free roof analysis. When it comes to roofing issues, think of Finley first. See them on the web at finleyroofing.com. Roof, roof.
10:51 on the Mark Aram Show, 4th of July, just days away. Fireworks, cookouts, and of course, the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Joining us live, one of the participants in this year's Hot Dog Eating Contest, Mickey Sudo. Mickey, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
I am so excited for you. You, if folks don't know, hold the world record for most hot dogs consumed by a female in said contest. What is the record, and you think you're going to break it this year?
Yeah, so the female record is 51 hot dogs in 10 minutes, which I set last year on the Nathan stage.
I mean, I'm assuming you had humble beginnings as a competitive eater. Do you remember how many hot dogs you got down in your first contest, and then how did it get to 51 last year to break the record?
Actually, I think I was kind of broken from the start. I actually, in my first qualifier, ate 40 hot dogs in 10 minutes. That was before I even entered the final event. And actually, that 40 hot dogs in 10 minutes was the most hot dogs ever consumed by a male or female since it became a 10-minute event. So it was crazy. I just kind of jumped onto the scene and fell into this.
How long ago was that? Where your first go at it, you knocked down 40 dogs?
That was the qualifier April 20th, I think, of 2014.
Okay, that's I'm a big fat dude, right? I'm a husky fella. I love hot dogs. I've never tried a competitive eating contest, but I get 4 down at my local Quick Trip, and I'm kind of stuffed. I can't even envision doing 40. How is it physically capable for you to nail 40 to 51 hot dogs at a sitting in 10 minutes?
Yeah, I don't know. So the 40 to 50, because I've had a huge fluctuation in my performance over the last 10 years. Sometimes it's just really dependent on the weather. But now that I think about it, the very first time I ever tried to eat hot dogs competitively, it was my first practice in my friend's kitchen, and I ate 31 in 10 minutes.
Oh
so it was just kind of like fumbling around. Yeah, but I don't know. I guess I've just always had a larger capacity. But yeah, some of it's technique, some of it's capacity, some of it's just pushing through when you don't want to eat soggy hot dog buns anymore. So there's a mental component to it, definitely.
Mickey Sudo joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. Nathan's hot dog eating contest this 4th of July. Mickey's going to try to break her own record, 51 in 10 minutes. I would assume, and I shouldn't make assumptions, but because you eat these hot dogs competitively, on a random Wednesday in February, you don't tell your husband, who's also a competitive eater, hey, let's have hot dogs for dinner tonight, right? I can't envision that you are eating hot dogs in a non-competition environment.
No, we love hot dogs. I don't know. To me, hot dogs have always been like a lunch or snack item. I don't know if we've done like hot dogs. Maybe like grilling if we just have them around. But yeah, we enjoy hot dogs just like everybody else. We just don't like to dunk the buns in like warm liquid. We've got our favorite toppings. Mine's spicy mustard, raw onion, sauerkraut. Nick likes chili cheese dog. So once in a while, I've been known to even eat like a gas station hot dog. So
Yeah,
it's
heck
just
yeah.
like, we're just like regular people who just do this once a year, and
All right, so as a hot dog eating expert, competitive eater, settle the argument once and for all. Does ketchup belong on hot dogs?
Oh my goodness, Max, do we put ketchup on hot dogs? He says yes.
Oh,
I
no.
think it's great for kids. I would
Yeah,
say
thank you.
no, thank you.
Yeah, Max can do it, but if you're over the age of 15, I don't think you should put.
Max is also 3 years old, so he's allowed.
Yeah,
to. He loves
absolutely.
ketchup on hot dogs, but
Mickey, final question for you, because I've had a competitive eater. He went to Georgia State University down here in Atlanta on before. Really tall African gentleman, used to play basketball.
Gideon.
Yeah, Gideon. And I asked Gideon. He says he's better at other competitive eating contests aside from hot dogs. I forgot. He holds the record in like corn or something. Is there another competitive eating contest that you excel in outside of hot dogs?
Yeah, so I hold the world records in kimchi, ice cream, Minnesota hot dish, fish balls, slices of cheese. I mean, there's a whole variety. I mean, the ice cream is probably the most, impressive or crazy. I don't know, but that's over 2 gallons in 6 minutes. So, I mean, we all have our strengths and weaknesses. I mean, Nick's done 12 cans of Spam in 8 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even come close to that. So we all have our strengths and weaknesses. But, this Friday, it's all about the hot dog.
Oh, well, I'll be rooting for you. Is Nick competing in the hot dog this year?
Yeah, how do you feel, babe?
Feel good. I'm excited to be out there. Good to be back for another year.
Now, normally I root for. There's a couple of competitive eaters from my hometown of Torrington, Connecticut. Normally I root for them, but they've not been on my show, so I'm rooting for you guys this year. So best of luck.
We'll try to get a hold of them.
The Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest airs July 4th. Pre-show festivities at 10 a.m. Women's competition live at 10:45. So brunch hot dogs for you, Mickey. And then the men's competition at noon on ESPN2. Guys, best of luck. Happy 4th of July. We're all going to be rooting for you.
Thanks so much. Happy 4th.
There you go. Mickey and Nick, best of luck, competitor eaters. First go, 40 dogs. I'm fat. I couldn't eat 40 hot dogs in a day. She nails them in 10 minutes. Very exciting stuff. All right, quick break. When we come back, heading back to the nation's capital, the budget bill. President Trump now speaking at the Alligator Alcatraz. We'll update that story as well. All of that next on the Mark Arum Show.
paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
A few years ago, my youngest son had something minor turned into something very major in a matter of hours.
It was Medi-Share that came through for us, and there was no hassles, there was no problem.
That's what's so wonderful about knowing that you're a part of such an incredible ministry.
Medi-Share is a biblical approach to healthcare where Christians share each other's medical expenses.
Medi-Share is a family, a group of people that stick with you through the hardest times of your life.
Medi-Share isn't insurance. It's a nonprofit ministry over 30 years old, and members have shared over $8 billion of each other's medical bills.
We don't have to spend so much on health insurance. You can focus that on supporting other people.
Medi-Share is affordable.
Medi-Share is biblical.
Medi-Share is family. Join thousands of Christians who can help you save on your health care and support your family when you need it. Call 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
You can save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or Canada Dry. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Limit 8. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey guys, you looking for a simple solution to hair loss this summer? We'll get Advanced Hair's breakthrough one-day treatment during their once-yearly summer savings event. It's Mark Aaron back with you. Check this out. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and Advanced Hair guarantees it will grow. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during Advanced Hair's best offer ever. For details and free consultations, call 470-660-HAIR or online at advancedhair.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Moving is supposed to be exciting, but let's be honest, it usually turns into a juggling act. Sell one house, buy another, try not to lose your mind. That's where Orchard comes in. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler. Orchard flips the process. Instead of waiting for your current home to sell, Orchard gives you cash up front so you can buy your next place first, settle in, and breathe a little. While you're unpacking, Orchard is busy getting your old home ready, handling repairs, staging, even upgrades to help it sell for top dollar. And when it does, you get that extra cash too. So yeah, one payday when you buy, another when you sell. It's not magic, it's just smart real estate. No stress, no awkward timing, no crashing in your aunt's guest room for a month. Start with a free home valuation at Orchard.com. 2 paydays, 1 move, 0 chaos. That's Orchard.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
It's 11 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This just in. Brookhaven police have made an arrest now. They've arrested a Riverdale man for the murder of a 16-year-old. It happened earlier this month on Claremont Road near Buford Highway. 18-year-old Enrique Mendoza has been arrested following an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers. He's behind bars now. DeKalb County Police say the investigation's ongoing and more arrests and charges are possible. In another case here in Atlanta, police need your help in finding a murder suspect. Crime Stoppers releasing new pictures and video of a person of interest and a murder that happened on June 6 on Collier Drive. Police say they got a call that day just before 6 p.m. of a person shot. When they arrived on scene, they found a 17-year-old dead. Anybody with information being asked to call Crime Stoppers Atlanta. There's a $5,000 reward being offered. We have posted the video and picture at WSBradio.com. All right, your weather for today. Mostly cloudy, some scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day, continuing into the evening hours, and a high of 87, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Now, let's talk about your money. The Georgia Public Service Commission voting this morning to freeze Georgia power rates for 3 years. Some critics say, though, that the PSC should have, in fact, lowered your rates. The 6 rate increases that Georgia Power customers have endured in the past 2 years, they say, delivered record profits of $2.4 billion for Georgia Power in 2024. There are a number of new state laws that are in effect starting today.
Those measures include a bill that requires transgender athletes play on the sports team that matches their biological sex. When signing the bill, Governor Kemp saying,
"This common sense legislation is about what is fair and safe
for our children.
Fentanyl traffickers will face increased criminal penalties under another law taking effect today, something cheered by Gus Walters, who lost his son to an overdose.
We don't want anybody to have to go through what we've gone through.
Parents will also see benefits on their taxes with a new measure going into law to raise the child tax credit. Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Thinking about renting a car for your vacation? This may interest you then. One major car rental company is testing out artificial intelligent vehicle inspections for the first time here in Atlanta.
Up to this point, workers at Hertz at Hartsfield-Jackson have manually inspected rental vehicles for dents, scratches, and other damage once they're returned by a customer. But now cars are inspected by a UVI AI-powered camera system. Hertz is testing the system at the airport before installing it at about 100 other locations later this year. The company says the system should increase accuracy, scanning a vehicle's body, glass, tires, and undercarriage. They also say it can perform inspections much faster than before. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Hurricane Flossie strengthens to a Category 2 hurricane off Mexico's Pacific coast. 2 Carnival cruises have had to change plans because of the hurricane. And while we're talking about vacation, what do you plan to do on yours? Well, a new study today says Americans are choosing sleepcations over vacations.
Travel site Booking.com says 58% of us are now looking for vacations that allow more sleeping and less activity. And there's good reason. Sleep is awesome. It reduces stress, improves mood, and just feels good.
Ambry Tennis reports, according to the Academy of Sleep Medicine, in the 1960s, Americans got an average of 8.5 hours of sleep every night. Now it's less than 7 hours. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 303 at 44,398. So the Dow's up more than 0.5%. Nasdaq's down almost a full percent, and the S&P is in the red slightly here at 1104. That means it's time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams joining us now from the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Sabrina. Right now, watching brake lights through Marietta on 75 southbound, leaving South Marietta Parkway, trying to get onto 285. It's all due to this rolling pothole repair that's been in a couple of right lanes. 285 southbound. They were right at Cobb Parkway, exit 19, now making their way further south, so that's the reason for the 75 south delays. Also causing 285 westbound to be a little slow out of Sandy Springs. Speaking of Sandy Springs, if you're taking 400 southbound into Buckhead through Sandy Springs, you're going to see right lane construction approaching Lennox Road, exit 2. And looks like that earlier trouble spot on the south side, 75 southbound before Hudson Bridge Road, exit 224 is cleared. Still seeing a tap of the brakes, though, as you leave Highway 138. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy today with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms. Some may produce torrential downpours. Today's high is 87. Heavy rain for tonight. Lows in the low 70s. Tomorrow, drying out with partly cloudy skies. High 89.
82 degrees in Roswell and Sugar Hill. Winder has 81 degrees. We'll have more news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
I'll run this town to be near you.
11:05, welcome back, friends. Mark Aram and crew with you till noon. Coming up in 30 minutes, we're going to talk to Janelle Marte from Bloomberg News. We heard some comments from the Atlanta Fed chair on the heels of apparently a growing battle between President Trump and Jerome Powell, the actual Fed chair. So that's coming up in 30 minutes. Real quick, going back to Mickey Sudo. We just had her on last segment. World record holder in the hot dog eating contest at Nathan's. 51 hot dogs in 10 minutes. All of a sudden, Vin, I'm craving varsity chili dogs. I am absolutely craving varsity chili dogs.
I thought about that. I'm not going to lie. I thought about it when she said the chili dogs. They were good.
We went. Too bad you have to fill in on Erickson's show. But I might go down. I just went to the varsity.com, Deborah, to check out. They do not deliver. And I don't believe there are any food delivery apps. Maybe Alex
You got to get him one of those little robot
Exactly. If they're on DoorDash or something. Alex, check to see if the varsity's on DoorDash or something, because I don't think I can go the rest of the day without having some varsity chili dogs in honor of the 4th of July. Anyway, a couple of big stories we're following. Getting new information this morning about the assassination of the 2 firefighters in Idaho. We're working to get a local reporter in from Idaho on the show and give us the situation there. Again, if you're just joining us, suspect dead, killed himself, 20 years old. 2 firefighters are dead. 1 still critically injured. Thoughts and prayers to all firefighters, and especially that community out in Idaho. And one of the 3 theories we had yesterday on the show seems to be the case that the suspect wanted to be a firefighter and because of maybe a checkered criminal past wasn't able to get in, and maybe that was the motive there, but just senseless assassination there of the 2 Idaho firefighters. The second big story is the budget battle, and this is going to encompass, I believe, 2 stories. President Trump talking about the budget battle and the alligator Alcatraz facility that is opening in the Florida Everglades. So just before the news at 11, President Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis were talking to reporters down in the Everglades. Let's listen in.
We're not going to be playing with Medicaid. Only waste, fraud, and abuse. Yeah, the Democrats have it wrong. Yeah, waste, fraud, and abuse. In fact, if you look at what's gone on, we've gone way back. We take care of Medicaid. We take care of Medicare. They will blow Medicare and Medicaid because they have no idea what they're doing. Just like they don't have any idea what they did on the border, they have no idea. Medicaid is in big trouble with the Democrats.
So you can promise anyone who loses their health care coverage that is because of waste, fraud, and abuse?
Waste, fraud, only waste, fraud, and abuse, which is what everybody wants.
President, Russia has about 50,000 troops stationed outside of Sumy in Ukraine. What will you do if Russia authorizes an offensive?
We'll see what happens. I'm watching it very closely.
Mr. President?
Yeah.
About Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit next week, what are you hoping to get out of that? And do you think there'll be any progress?
Well, it's going to be a very quick celebration. We had a great hit. It was a obliteration. Okay, now it turns out it was an obliteration. You know, they demeaned CNN mostly and the New York Times, fake New York Times. They demeaned these great soldiers. They went over there 17 hours flying, and they hit bullseye after bullseye after bullseye. It all blew up. Everybody saw it. Then they get back, and CNN said, well, they did okay, but maybe it wasn't. Let me tell you, it was beyond obliteration. Nobody can even get down there. The tunnels are busted. Everything fell into the well. It was a total and complete obliteration, and we should celebrate these heroes. And what I'm doing is I'm bringing them, Ron. We're bringing them to Florida or to the White House. I gave them their choice. I think they're going to take the White House.
Probably.
I shouldn't tell you this.
Mr. President, there's going to be a new bill called Make American Elections Great Again.
I love it.
Forcing the U.S. Census Bureau to redo the census to actually get an account of how many Americans with proof of citizenship are in our area, in our country, redistricting some of the House districts. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll speak for both of us. We love it. Okay, you're going to like this one. I know all about it. We want to bring our elections back. The election in 2020 was rigged, millions and millions of votes. It had to do with COVID and a lot of things, but it really had to do with their crooked people. The Democrats are very good at cheating on elections. And that's why I said too big to rig. They tried this one too. But after about 9:02, they gave up too many votes. You know, too big to rig. Ron would love it. I would love it. Christie would love it. That's what they have to do. They have to bring it back. And we have to look, you know, Ron, they include anybody that happens to be in your state.
Well, California would lose like 5 seats if they did a fair census. And even beyond that, the Biden census gypped Florida of at least 1 seat. We only got 1 seat in the last census. Are you trying to tell me that Florida only had 1 seat in that? We should have had at least 2. Texas should have had another one. That could be the difference in the House of Representatives in the majority. So I would love for them to redo the census for 26. My legislature will redistrict those lines. We'll get it to where it's fair. But as it's right now, this country is not fairly apportioned. I've got so many more millions of people in Florida that have representation because of that flawed census.
Mr. President, I think it's going to do very well. A lot of people, I don't know if you've heard about it, it's captivated the country. Everybody wants it. It's going to get in, it's going to pass, and we're going to be very happy.
Elon Musk is ripping into this bill again. Are you concerned that Republicans are going to be swayed by Musk and his money?
No, I don't think so. I think what's going to happen is Doge is going to look at Musk. And if Doge looks at Musk, we're going to save a fortune. Thank you very much, everybody. I don't think you should be playing that game with me.
Mr. President, July 9th tariff guideline.
All right, that was President Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Not really talking about the alligator Everglades story there, but I blame the reporters for asking weird questions. That should have been the question should have been about the budget bill and about the alligator Alcatraz story, but we heard some other stuff there. Anyway, we'll monitor the president. Not sure when he's getting back to the White House, but there was Deborah. If you can pull up that story between President Trump and Japan. So again, we're coming up on those deadlines to get trade deals done. And President Trump, correct me if I'm wrong, Deborah, is not happy with the way things are going with Japan, commenting that they're not buying enough of our rice. Is that right?
Yeah, he's basically saying that they need rice and they're not buying it from us because of the big tariffs that they slapped on everybody. Japan doesn't want to pay them. And so Trump is saying, hey, fine, we're going to write you a letter basically and telling everybody Japan's not willing to play our game. But you're the one who's been to Japan.
Yes.
Are they lacking in rice?
Yes, they are.
Really?
But what's interesting, and you can see if you can find this on Google, because I believe that Japan does buy a ton of rice from us.
It says they're like the second biggest country to buy from the U.S.
So I totally forgotten about this portion of my Japan trip. But when we landed in Japan, when we went to Maya's hometown and saw her mom said there's a national rice shortage in Japan.
Oh, gosh.
And so how we have like oil reserves here in the United States, where, I think President Biden released some of the oil reserves, when in Japan they have government rice reserves.
Wow.
Like it's that important to their culture. So what they were doing was they were giving away bags of rice to citizens to help overcome the rice shortage for whatever reason it is.
Like war rations?
Yeah, basically. So they have this stockpile of government rice in Japan, and because of the shortage, they were distributing it. I don't know how much it was, like I guess like a bag a week for a family. I don't know how it worked out, but was ironic. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, well, we're going to see an increase in price when we go out for sushi or get a rice bowl. But there was no price increase. It was just really, and I was trying to think, like, why would there be a rice shortage? Is it too dry to grow the rice? So
all the surrounding countries around there also grow rice.
Yeah, and what's fascinating too, and this is I've observed every time I go to Japan, and not in Tokyo or the large cities, but if you go out to the suburbs, like picture you go out to the suburbs here in Atlanta, you go to Alpharetta or Buford or Stockbridge, right? And you turn down in a cul-de-sac, Deborah. Every house has what in the front and back?
Every house has what, a yard?
A yard, right? You have grass in the front yard. You have grass. In Japan, in the suburbs, they don't have grassy yards. Like most houses have rice paddies.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
like your own little garden.
Yeah. So, but it's like it's so weird because you're used to seeing a front yard, a nice green lawn.
Yeah.
In Japan, in the suburbs, again, not in the cities, but in the suburbs, the house will have a rice paddy in the front yard. Which
do they grow their own rice?
They grow their own rice, and it's like water. It's because it's a. And I was like, wow, that's obviously that's pretty cool, right? That they grow their own rice, but they were apparently the people in the suburbs were having no trouble getting the rice, but I don't know why. So that was interesting when I saw that story. I was like, yeah, they said there was a rice shortage, but Japan buys the second most rice from us. You said, right? How much does it say? How much?
Let's see. It bring about 340,000 tons every year.
That's a lot of rice.
That's a lot of rice.
I do love rice. Do you have a rice cooker in your house?
I do not have a rice cooker in my house.
You have one, Vin?
I cook rice differently.
Vinny has one. All right. I have one in my house. I thought I was what are you doing making rice?
I make fried rice.
Oh, look at you, Vin.
Yeah, jasmine rice, and then
All right, very good. A quick update to the budget bill that goes into effect this morning, the local budget here in the state of Georgia. Scott Slade was on last half hour telling us about the new budget and the new laws that come in. And Scott Slade told us, Deborah, that the budget this year is $37.7 billion. And I asked, is that greater or less than last year's budget? Scott, of course, found the answer. And hit me up on the Piccadilly text line. The budget is 4.5% higher than last year. So last year's budget in the state was $36.1 billion, and that is now up to $37.7 billion. So Scott Slade just, he had to know for himself, and then he found out the answer and gave it to us. So there has been a 4.5% increase in the state budget in Georgia from $36.1 billion to $37.7 $7 billion. All right. Thank you for Scott Slade. All right. When we come back, we're going to go back to Capitol Hill, get the latest on the budget battle. Is it going to pass? When is it going to pass? And what's going to happen when it gets to the Congress? And we are going to update the Idaho massacre, the assassination of those 2 poor firefighters in Idaho. Before we check traffic, Alex Williams, I gave you some in-show homework, trying to see if the Varsity is available on any food delivery apps. What did you find out for us, buddy?
Yeah, I got a no-go on Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub. No Varsity.
I wonder why that is. It because they're jammed enough and they don't want a bunch of food delivery people coming to pick up?
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm hungry. And
right down Peachtree, buddy.
Yeah, I know. All right, we're going to get there. All right, when we come back, we'll update the stories. But first, after we gave him some food homework, Alex has been hard at work monitoring the roads. Any hot spots right now, little guy?
Yeah, real slow right in and around the Truist Park region on 75 southbound, leaving South Marietta Parkway, as well as 285 west and southbound from New Northside Drive, Powers Ferry Road, exit 22, passing I-75. All of it due to pothole repair taking place. They're rolling 285 southbound, stopping and finding these holes in the road. They've been in the right lanes, passing Cobb Parkway, exit 19, so hang in the left lanes. They might be switching those, so just be mindful of those work crews as you try to make your way through the Smyrna Vinings region. Elsewhere, you got right lane construction on 400 southbound, south of I-285 before Lennox Road, so that's slowing the ride a little bit between Sandy Springs and Buckhead. And we've cleaned up pretty nicely on the south side in Stockbridge. Earlier stall cleared from the right lane, 75 southbound before Hudson Bridge Road, exit 224. Traffic brought to you by Sam's Club. Ready for some locked-in summer value at Sam's Club till July 22nd. Prices are held on over 1,000 items, including summer must-haves like ice cream. Sign up for a membership and join at samsclub.com/join. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Wednesday on Atlanta's Morning News, rain in the forecast today, but Christina Edwards notes a change in her 5-day forecast. Traffic every 6 minutes, and Clark Howard tells us about a new state law that could help child care tax credits.
It's our 20th anniversary at North Georgia Replacement Windows, and we're celebrating with our biggest sale in company history.
It's Ted and Jonathan. For a limited time, save 25% on beautiful Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows and doors.
Celebrate with us and upgrade your home's energy efficiency, comfort, and curb appeal. Window and door shopping made simple.
Hurry, 25% savings ends July 31st.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
Hi, it's Wes Moss. May's mayhem is behind us, and June is in full bloom. Spring brings milestones like graduations, weddings, and even new homes. It's also a time when you might be thinking about retirement. If that's you, visit our team at Capital Investment Advisors. We'll work with you to craft an income-focused portfolio designed to deliver a reliable paycheck in retirement. Get started at yourwealth.com. That's Y-O-U-R wealth.com.
One of the worst things about termites, they are silent destroyers. They could be eating your home right now and you'd never know, unless your termite service thoroughly inspects inside your home with the best termite technology. Mark Aram here for Breda Pest Management. When was the last time you actually saw your service inspect for termite damage? Let me guess, they just walked around outside and checked the bait stations. If termites are eating your house, how would they know just by walking around your yard? Better get Breda. Only Breda uses advanced infrared cameras, microwave technology, and a moisture meter for early detection. So you can continue to pay more every year for your current service to walk around outside, or switch your termite protection to Breda and your rate is locked in for 10 years. Breda Pest Management, they handle bugs and critters like termites. BREDA Pest.com.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
You know kids will ruin your life, right? Especially if you're a garage door. I mean, babies are adorable, don't get me wrong. But after that adorable phase where they barf and poop on everything, they turn into a cheap garage door's worst nightmare. Whacking tennis balls against the door all day, up and down every time they ride a bike. You dreamy young'uns might have the energy to start a family, but that rusty avocado green aluminum garage door that came with your house is too old for this jazz. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Modern, insulated garage doors are built to stand up to family life. They resist dents, they don't ring like a gong when you whack them with a puck, And they go up and down, super quiet, as many times as your kids change their minds. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll treat you like family.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Men, are you having problems performing in the bedroom? Do pills like Viagra and Cialis leave you feeling frustrated? Well, now there's new hope for men who suffer from PE and ED problems. Meet Dr. Katz, a specialist in men's health.
Hey guys, I'm Dr. Katz with Choice Men's Health. Regardless of your age or medical condition, Choice Men's Health can safely restore your sexual potency. Our customized solutions can eliminate your problem in just one visit. There's no pain, no surgery, and it's affordable.
Guys, don't let the anxiety over your performance get you down. We can get you back in the game. Call Choice Men's Health today to find out how you can eliminate ED on the very first visit. Call 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Best deal ever for the best service ever when it comes to the hair situation on your dome. Hey, friends, it's Mark Aaron back for my pals at Advanced Hair. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair summer sale event on for a limited time. I want you to get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 470-660-HAIR, 470-660-HAIR. Summer sales event, best deal ever, limited time offer. Don't wait a second longer. Whether you have a receding hairline or bald spots, make sure you get the job done right with Advanced Hair. Simple one-day treatment, and your new hair begins to regrow on your own head the very next day, and they guarantee your hair will grow for life. One-day treatment, life-changing results with Advanced Hair. Your new hair guaranteed to grow. Get your appointment now, 470-660-HAIR, or online at advancedhair.com.
Home improvement projects can be a stressful guessing game. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus, the highest level of communication. The Plus means siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. We'll make you comfortable and keep you informed with every step of your project.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus, siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
When you're on the go, enjoy music in motion with Sony's Walkman stereo sound system.
Ready to feel old, folks? 46 years ago today, Sony released the Walkman, the world's first low-cost portable stereo. It was released in Japan July 1st, 1979, would later be released in the U.S. in June of 1980. Deborah, did you have an official Sony Walkman?
My brother had a Sony Walkman. I had a Sony Discman. That was my thing.
I didn't have a Sony anything. I had the knockoff version of the Walkman. I was not able to secure the actual Sony
brand.
But I wasn't complaining. It played my cassettes. And then later on, when I went to college, the car I had didn't have a compact disc player, a CD player. So I had one of those ones that you jerry rig and you plug it into the cassette thing.
It connects it.
Yeah, and you put the CD player on the passenger seat.
Sounds terrible.
Not only that, when you hit a bump, it skips.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Anyway, that was 46 years ago today. Sony released the Walkman. Goodness, I feel old. All right, we have an update now from our buddy Jim Ryan from ABC. One of the 3 firefighters shot during that ambush Sunday in Idaho has undergone a pair of successful surgeries and is expected to recover. Good news. Jim, what's the latest?
Wes Rowley had lived in Kootenai County, Idaho for only a short time, but was known to law enforcers.
We've had 5 interactions. They're very, very minor in nature.
Sheriff Bob Norris says the 20-year-old had no criminal history. Rowley did not leave a note explaining his motive, but, says Norris,
we do have some social media presence.
A picture of Rowley in camouflage and the words, "I'm going hunting." Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Jeez Louise. Suspect coward shot himself. No word of a manifesto, but obviously, as we heard there from Jim, investigators poring over his social media, talking to friends, family, coworkers, etc. 20 years old. But again, the headline, the firefighter that was shot is in critical condition, has had 2 successful surgeries and is expected to recover. That's really, really good news. We'll continue to update the Idaho situation and what's going on Capitol Hill with the budget bill. But as far as the interest rates are concerned, we heard from Fed Chair Jerome Powell yesterday in his ongoing battle with President Trump what the Atlanta Fed Chair had to say about inflation and the possibility of interest rates coming down. We'll get an update from Bloomberg News on that story next on The Mark Arum Show.
Well, I bet it is safe to say you are sick and tired of home services companies that don't show up on time, don't get it right, ghost you then when you need them later. Hey, it's Chris Chandler. I don't have to worry about any of that because I only trust TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. TE Certified is a well-oiled machine with the highest level of communication and follow-up. They're on time, friendly, and fully stocked.
TE Certified, we love your home.
It's Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I've got something important to talk to you about, your 401k. If you have changed jobs, there are 2 very important considerations. You don't want to leave your 401k behind, and you don't want to roll it over into your new company plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. 401ks will often have limited investments or age-based options. Since companies have to make choices to suit all employees, they may not be suited to you, which could cost you fees and money. When you roll over your 401k into an IRA, you not only keep your money growing tax deferred, but you also gain access to a world of investment options specifically designed for you. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have helped thousands, and we can do the same for you. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Heavy rain, high winds, huge hail. Yes, Atlanta, we're in storm season. It's Mark Arum here. You might be faced with a roof repair or a replacement. Do not gamble with any contractor, and there are hundreds of roofers with little to no experience. I want you to trust the experts at Dr. Roof. Trusted name in roofing for over 35 years and backed by their industry-leading warranties. Dr. Roof doesn't cut corners. They're the best at protecting your biggest investment. Dr. Roof, done right, guaranteed.
What you walk on in your home should be wonderful.
Hi, I'm Michael, proud founder of Authentic Hardwood Flooring. Your summer vacation is going to be awesome, but coming home to those floors won't be. While you're gone, let our highly trained installers transform your space. Just imagine coming home to beautiful new floors. Our promise is to make your flooring process painless. Our focus is to make it perfect.
Authentic Hardwood Flooring offers high-quality craftsmanship with an exceptional customer experience. AuthenticHardwoodFlooring.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call us now. $30 billion was set aside for meso victims, and in most cases, your claim is settled out of court without a jury trial. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. President Trump has gone to Florida's Everglades to visit an old airstrip that's going to be used as an encampment for detainees facing deportation. When he landed, he was joined by Governor Ron DeSantis and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. He says the Senate appears poised to take a final vote on the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill.
What does confident mean when you're when you have one vote and you have 100 people going to vote? I think so. I think it's going to be the greatest bill ever passed, even for you as an example. Tremendous amount of Homeland Security money.
And be sure and check back for updates. We'll let you know what happens in Washington. Your weather here today, mostly cloudy, scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day, continuing into the evening hours with a high of 87. The Georgia Public Service Commission voting today to freeze rates. The 6 rate increases that Georgia Power customers have endured in the past 2 years had record profits of $2.4 billion for Georgia Power in 2024. PSC Commissioner Tim Echols.
Since the pandemic, the state of Georgia has seen employment, personal income, the size of our economy all grow faster than the national average. That economic performance would not have been possible without the investments that our ratepayers made in our energy system.
The PSC voting to freeze rates for the next 3 years. Atlanta police need your help in finding a murder suspect. Crime Stoppers releasing new pictures and video of a person of interest in a murder. It happened on June 6th on Collier Drive. Police say they got a call that day just before 6 p.m. of a person shot. When they arrived on scene, they found a 17-year-old dead. Anybody with information being asked to call Crime Stoppers. There is a $5,000 reward being offered in connection to the case. We have posted the video and pictures at WSBRadio.com. Brookhaven police have made an arrest now. A Riverdale man arrested for the murder of a 16-year-old earlier this month on Claremont Road near Buford Highway. 18-year-old Enrique Mendoza arrested following an anonymous tip. He is behind bars in DeKalb County. Police say the investigation is ongoing and more arrests and charges are possible. And this just in at 11:30, televangelist Jimmy Swaggart has died. He had a unique style of preaching.
I want to make it clear and plain there, to use some incorrect grammar, there ain't no other way other than Jesus Christ.
Now, Swaggart's multi-million-dollar ministry was toppled by prostitution scandals back in the day. He died at the age of 90. Lululemon is suing Costco, accusing the retailer of selling knockoffs of its high-end clothing. Lawsuit alleging that Costco is intentionally mimicking the Lululemon brand clothing in an effort to make customers think that they are the same. It's not the first time that the company has sued over knockoff apparel. Back in 2021, Lululemon sued Peloton for allegedly making and selling clothing that was similar to Lululemon products. And the 4th of July is going to be busy. More than 72 million Americans expected to travel for the 4th of July holiday. AAA saying most will travel by car, with the busiest travel days being tomorrow and Sunday, July 6th. The TSA expects to screen more than 18 million air travelers between today and next Monday. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow currently up 435 at 44,530. So the Dow's up almost a full percent. NASDAQ is down almost a full percent. And the S&P is also in negative territory. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams joining us now from the 24-hour traffic center.
And if you are making the trek for the holidays, we will be here in the traffic center covering all of it. So stay with 95.5 for all your traffic coverage. Meantime, right now, you're still jammed up in Marietta, 75 southbound. It is slow from just before South Marietta Parkway all the way down to I-285 there next to Truist Park. All that due to some rolling pothole repair in the right lanes. 285 southbound, the outer loop just below Cobb Parkway, exit 19. It's also got 285 westbound, the outer loop slow back at Northside Drive, Powers Ferry Road. Elsewhere, it's right lane construction between Sandy Springs and Buckhead on Georgia 400 southbound, approaching Lennox Road, exit number 2. And you got right lane construction heading toward Duluth out of Norcross, 85 northbound, approaching Steve Reynolds Boulevard, exit number 103. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Mostly cloudy with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms. Some of these storms may produce damaging wind gusts later this afternoon and this evening. Today's high is 87. Heavy rain for tonight, low 71. Tomorrow, the rain moves out, becoming partly cloudy, high 89.
In Woodstock, it's 82 degrees, 82 right now in Sandy Springs. We'll have more news at noon, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
I've listened to many arguments, and there are good arguments to say that we shouldn't. I'm just saying.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
This is the only way to do it. Some people are going to lose their job, and then they're going to be put back in the job.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
It's about you. You're being celebrated.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
We're not going to be playing with Medicaid. Only wastewater to be
President Trump down at Alligator Alcatraz said they are not going to mess with Medicare. We'll continue to update the budget bill. But next, what the Atlanta Fed chair had to say about interest rates. Next on the Mark Arum Show.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed mold, mildew, bowing walls, or water in your basement? I hope not, but if you have, your basement is losing the war against groundwater. That's where AquaGuard comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule your free inspection at aquaguard.net/row.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Summer is here, so if you're thinking about selling your home, now is the time. With Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer, you can sell your home quickly and for maximum value. Hi, it's Chris Chandler, and I'm here with my friend Mark of Mark Spain Real Estate. Mark, I'm always bragging about the guaranteed offer. Can you explain to our listeners why it's the easiest way to sell your home?
Our guaranteed offer is so unique because it allows sellers to receive a quick, all-cash, competitive offer without the hassles of putting their home on the market. There's no showings, no open houses, no stress. We literally focus on what's important to you. A quick sale and maximum profit. We've been in business for nearly 30 years, and we know what matters most at Mark Spain Real Estate. We provide you with the most competitive cash offer in the industry so you can maximize the value of your home. It's that simple.
Thanks, Mark. With over 13,000 five-star reviews, you can trust the top real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home stress-free and for the most money. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. There's no obligation. That's markspain.com and start packing.
At Shane Company, we've been engagement ring experts for almost 100 years. We have the largest selection of diamonds and gemstones in stock. You don't have to wait to compare them side by side. Find the one that speaks to you at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
He packed in the animals 2 by 2, ox, a camel, and a kangaroo.
11:37 on this glorious Tuesday morn. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. Tomorrow's Wednesday. That means Thursday, 2 days from now, the return of $1,000 Thursdays here on 95.5 WSB. 7 chances for you to win $1,000 this Thursday on the radio station, including Deborah, 3 times during this very broadcast. We'll give keywords at 9, 10, and 11. Then you just enter that keyword, and you have until the top of the hour to enter it, and then you get a chance to win $1,000 3 times during the Mark Arum Show. Go ahead and download the WSB Radio app right now. It makes it easier to enter. Last Thursday, we gave $3,000 away during this broadcast. It was awesome. They always say giving's better than receiving. Getting $1,000 would be great, but I felt I don't know. Would you guys feel good about giving away $1,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right before a holiday?
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was fantastic. Speaking of money, we heard from the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta President Raphael Bostic yesterday. Joining us live covering the story for Bloomberg News is Janelle Marte. Janelle, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Great to be here. Good morning.
So what did we hear from Mr. Bostic when it comes to interest rates?
Well, he basically sent the message that, he's watching closely for tariffs and how they're going to affect prices and the economy. And he sent the message that he has been hearing from businesses and as well, the surveys that they conduct with businesses in the area are showing that a lot of businesses do plan to pass along prices, the cost of tariffs to their customers. So he's in the camp that believes we are going to see higher prices because of the trade policies. And basically, he's waiting for it to show up in the data.
How much input does the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta president have in the grander scheme of things as compared to, like, Jerome Powell, the Fed chair?
Well, of course, he's not the leader of the Fed. And, we know that Powell builds consensus with his conversations with the different policy members. And even if Bostic, when he is not voting, he still has a say in the conversation. But I'll point out that he isn't alone. Powell is on the same side of saying that he thinks prices are going to go up. That's what he mentioned after the last meeting, every forecaster he talks to is expecting prices to go up. And what that has done is it put them on hold. We even heard Powell say today that if it wasn't for tariffs, they probably would be cutting rates. But that tariffs increase the outlook for inflation. And they're basically waiting it out. They don't want to make the mistake of cutting rates and then having prices go up.
And I'm sure uncertainty plays into that, right? Because we have this tariff pause right now. We got the expiration looming. We're not really sure where we're going to stand tariffs in, say, 2 months.
That's right. The tariffs have been evolving, ongoing, and they want to know where things are actually going to land. But they are expressing some openness to the fact that maybe the tariff prices won't be playing out as they anticipate. Maybe there will be less than they expected. or bigger than expected. The fact that it hasn't shown up yet is causing people to think, hey, maybe they're spreading the cost across different groups like the producer, the importer, and then the customer will pay part of it, but not as much as they have in previous tariff episodes. So that's sort of what they're waiting to figure out how it's all going to play out.
Janelle Marte, Bloomberg News, joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. Janelle, I'm not sure if you're covering this angle of the Fed story, but apparently President Trump had a handwritten note that he gave to Jerome Powell. Do you have an update on that?
I don't know what Trump is planning now, but we did hear Powell again say today that he's staying focused on the job, keeping prices stable and the labor market strong. So they're really trying to tune out the politics here. And again, we'll see what happens with rates. They're meeting later at the end of this month. And it looks like, they have some key data to come. So the jobs report on Thursday, coming early this time. And, of course, price data coming in a few weeks. So, there's a lot to watch.
I don't want you to make any predictions here, but, at the end of the month, is there a chance that rates actually might go up as opposed to being cut?
I'm not sure that anyone is anticipating a rate increase at the moment. We had two governors call for rate cuts as soon as this month. But again, Powell himself has pointed to we'll see what the data says. And he didn't rule out that they could make a change this month. He said, we're going meeting by meeting. I don't take any meeting off the table or put it on the table. But we'll see what we learn from the jobs market and from the price data to see if we are starting to see some of the effects. But they're expecting that to play out over the summer, and that will really inform what they end up doing.
Big story worth following. Janelle Marte, Bloomberg News. Janelle, as always, thanks for your time.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Got a story on update. This is on this banner across the cable news. IAEA head said that, so that's the International Atomic Energy Association. They said there was significant damage to Iran's facilities, but they're not quite sure yet about the enriched uranium. So that just popped up. Iran's UN ambassador says uranium enrichment will never stop in Iran. Developing story there. Closer to home, I don't mean to poke fun at Gen Zs and millennials, but there's a generation gap here. But I think that gap closed, Deborah, on this story. Apparently, much like me, Gen Zers and millennials have a tough time keeping their house clean.
Gen Z or Gen Y, millennials, whatever, they are struggling to keep their houses clean. 45% of them that were surveyed say they'd actually be embarrassed if somebody came over right now and saw what their house looked like. 31% they admit they haven't cleaned in about 6 months.
Oof.
And 36 say, we're only going to clean if we know somebody's going to come over.
Yeah, same. Maybe I'm a Gen
Really?
Zer then. Yeah. Well, as a bachelor, I was.
But I'm like, Maya has to keep that house spotless.
Yeah. Well, she's very busy. And we do have cleaners that come in like once a month.
Oh, okay.
But those go back to my bachelor days because I was just horrible at doing that. Vinny, back me up on this. The only time a single guy will clean his place is if there's a chance he's bringing a girl home that night.
Yeah, that's it.
Like if I think, I'm taking this girl for, again, not now. Don't text my wife and say, Aram's talking about date. No, back in my single days, if I had a date on a Saturday night and I was like, well, it's our third date, maybe, that Friday night, I'll spend 3 hours cleaning the tub. And I mean, just
It's a must.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you're not in the dating scene, there's really no incentive to
Clothes on my bed.
Yeah.
All that.
Exactly. Deborah, in your single days, were the same, right? If you thought a guy was going to come home, wouldn't you spruce up the apartment?
Mark, you have seen me clean the studio. You've seen that my office is alphabetical by color and size.
Yeah,
but my
not
house
an
is
issue
always
for you.
clean.
Yeah,
yes.
not an issue for you. All right. You might find this weird, but what my parents' favorite restaurant is Cracker Barrel. Like every year for Hanukkah, I give them Cracker Barrel gift cards. So when they drive down to Florida, they can stop. And I'm a big Cracker Barrel fan. This is alarming to me as a Cracker Barrel fan. Apparently, they're redoing their interior decorating. Right, Deborah? It's not going to be that old-timey Cracker Barrel feel anymore?
Yeah, I guess they've been kind of remodeling. They say they want to be a little more modern. So I haven't been to a Cracker Barrel in a while, but I guess if you go into some of the new ones, they're now painted all white inside and they have those vintage posters, but a lot of the old antiques that used to be kind of
Yeah.
like stuck on the wall, they're all gone now. And they even got rid of some of the rocking chairs that were in the front, and now they're just Adirondack chairs. Now, it's not all of them yet, but
Yeah.
slowly they're going to move to this new decor,
Oh, I
and a
don't
lot
like
of fans are up in arms
Yeah,
about it.
Vinny's
like it.
gasping. Vinny's gasping.
They might as well
over
get
there.
rid of the market.
Yeah, because when you go to Cracker Barrel, it's like this old-timey, comfortable feel. Similarly, and I was driving into, do you have the commercial ready, Vinny? I was getting ready for work this morning, listening to WSB Radio, Atlanta's Morning News on the WSB Radio app, and I heard you've all heard this commercial, but I'm going to play it again for you.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid back Sunday afternoon, you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Right, we love that song, right? Bluebell ice cream, love blue. So I had this thought, Deborah, just to show you how crazy my mind is. I'm like, has that song ever been nominated for a Grammy?
Oh.
Could you see like a Trisha Yearwood or a Reba McEntire like doing a cover of the Bluebell song and putting it on an album? That's a great song.
I think we just nominated Vinny to do that for tomorrow. I think he's going to have a version of that for us
Vinny,
to play tomorrow.
can you give us an updated version?
I could do that.
Like
Vinny style.
Like I don't know
Vinny
who
style.
sings that Bluebell jingle. The great voices, the lyrics are phenomenal, and it's. I just think I was like, that's a Grammy-winning song if we get the right music producer.
I
on
don't,
that.
my friend from college wrote commercial jingles. I'll see if I can reach out to him and see if
Yeah.
they get awards for anything.
That's. I mean, it's such a good song, and it puts you in the mood for ice cream. I heard that song this morning. I tried to get Graham Carroll to run to the supermarket and set up ice cream for us today. And he doesn't take he does not take orders from me. He's like, I do not work for you, Mark
shocking.
Arab. I am not going to go get Bluebell ice cream. I just think it's a great song. Maybe we can get Lori Morgan to recut it.
Jingles are not eligible for Grammys.
Well, what about it's a cover?
I'm just looking right now.
It'll be a cover.
There's got to be a jingle like
I'm sure. Yeah, well, I'm
you
just
know,
saying, here it's
award
not.
thing.
Well,
Vinny, you make a version tomorrow, and we'll get you nominated.
So
for a
instead of
Grammy.
we got to replace Bluebell, so it's not a jingle. I'll let the musical expert Vinny, the music producer, find. But that's such a great song, so well performed. All right, let's check trouble on, I believe, I-20, unless my sources are incorrect. Are my sources correct or not, Alex Williams?
They are correct. It is a new crash in East Atlanta heading into downtown, Mark. I-20 westbound right at the downtown connector, 7585 exit number 57. Knocking out the right lane. Already seen the brake lights filling in there back toward Moreland Avenue. Better news. 285 west or southbound, the outer loop, or right around Cobb Parkway, Truist Park. They just cleared up that pothole repair just past Cobb Parkway, exit 19. So 285 west is improving. 75 south, it's still slow out of Marietta, but hang in there. Those delays will start to get better. Trying to ramp onto 285 there near Truist Park, and still got the right lane construction leaving Sandy Springs toward Buckhead on Georgia 400 southbound before Lennox Road, exit number 2. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
You're by the pool.
You're relaxing.
You're sipping a drink.
Someone brings you a towel.
Adjust the umbrella.
Sound like a fantasy?
It's not if you win $1,000 from WSB.
It's WSB's $1,000 Thursdays this Thursday.
Listen for the keyword at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. and 12, 1, 2, and 3 p.m.
Enter the keyword at WSBRadio.com or the WSB app within that hour, and you could win $1,000. Get all the info at WSBRadio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays
from 95.5 WSB.
where Atlanta wins.
Hi, it's Wes Moss. May's mayhem is behind us and June is in full bloom. Spring brings milestones like graduations, weddings, and even new homes. It's also a time when you might be thinking about retirement. If that's you, visit our team at Capital Investment Advisors. We'll work with you to craft an income-focused portfolio designed to deliver a reliable paycheck in retirement. Get started at yourwealth.com. That's YOUR wealth.com.
Summer's a time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or your tan. Hey guys, it's Mark Arum here. I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once-yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. There's absolutely no one in hair restoration I trust more than Advanced Hair. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair summer sales event on for a limited time, so get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 470-660-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and take advantage of their best offer ever. That's 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com. 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
What you walk on in your home should be wonderful.
Hi, I'm Michael, proud founder of Authentic Hardwood Flooring. Your summer vacation is going to be awesome, but coming home to those floors won't be. While you're gone, let our highly trained installers transform your space. Just imagine coming home to beautiful new floors. Our promise is to make your flooring process painless. Our focus is to make it perfect.
Authentic Hardwood Flooring offers high-quality craftsmanship with an exceptional customer experience. AuthenticHardwoodFlooring.com.
Hey folks, it's Belinda. What you have planned this weekend? How about visiting the Lakewood 400 Antiques Market in Cumming, Friday through Sunday this weekend? Grab your spouse or your friends and go on a treasure hunt with over 500 booths. Everything you can imagine, from jewelry, collectibles, sports memorabilia, antiques, furniture, handcrafts, and toys. Every aisle and row is a different adventure. Come on out this weekend to the Lakewood 400 Antiques Market, 1321 Atlanta Highway in Cumming. Visit LakewoodAntiques.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
A few years ago, my youngest son had something minor turned into something very major in a matter of hours.
It was Medi-Share that came through for us, and there was no hassles, there was no problem.
That's what's so wonderful about knowing that you're a part of such an incredible ministry.
Medi-Share is a biblical approach to healthcare where Christians share each other's medical expenses.
Medi-Share is a family, a group of people that stick with you through the hardest times of your life.
Medi-Share isn't insurance. It's a nonprofit ministry over 30 years old, and members have shared over $8 billion of each other's medical bills.
We don't have to spend so much on health insurance. You can focus on supporting other people.
Medi-Share is affordable.
Medi-Share is biblical. Medi-Share is family.
Join thousands of Christians who can help you save on your health care and support your family when you need it. Call 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE.
It is officially summer break, and we can all take a deep breath. Well, only if your air ducts are clean. Call the cleaning pros at Zerorez to get your ducts insanely clean. And now you can take advantage of their summer sale for 15% off all services, including carpet, area rugs, and air duct cleanings. For a limited time, mention me, Chris Chandler, and you'll get 15% off your next service. That is right, any service, 15% off. Use promo code SUMMERSALE when scheduling online at ZerorezAtlanta.com.
We interrupt Missy Elliott's birthday to say happy birthday to Deborah Harry. Lead singer of Blondie turns 80 today. Deborah, were you named after Deborah Harry?
I wish. I met her once. It was one of the greatest things ever.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. Happy 80th birthday. Holy smokes. All right, as promised, hearing from Iran's foreign minister, he gave an interview with CBS News, his first American TV interview since the war with Israel began, talking about the nuclear program moving forward for Iran.
President Trump has made it clear that he will bomb your country's nuclear facilities again if Iran does indeed start enriching uranium again. Are you prepared for that?
Is this a lawful act?
You tell me.
We showed and proved during this 12-day imposed war that we have the ability to defend ourselves, and we will continue to do so should any aggression be launched against us.
Did you see proof that they could defend themselves? I don't know if I buy that. Anyway, just wanted to, I teased that, so I want to make sure you heard from the Iranian foreign minister. Some breaking news. I don't need the breaking news sounder, but this dropped on social media yesterday.
It's hard to accept that it's time to go.
The trailer
friendship has never been more
for the final Downton Abbey movie was released yesterday, Deborah. It's bittersweet, but it's dropping September 12th, which is my wedding anniversary. So I already told Maya, well, that's how we're spending our wedding anniversary. Are
you going to watch all the other ones leading up to it now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm very excited. The final Downton Abbey movie, September 12th, on my anniversary.
Vinny's Fact of the Day. It is basically, it's National Postal Worker Day, but because in 1896, it was the first rural free delivery mail service for the USPO. Yeah. And then 1963 zip codes were introduced.
There you go.
To make everything easier.
Good job, Vinny, filling in for the stoic one with the fact of the day. Good stuff. I love our postal carriers. Keep up the good work. Just stay away from the Palmetto facility. All right, stars of the show. Alex Williams did some homework during the show. Harlan, good job filling in for Vinny. Vinny, good job filling in for Longoria. Deborah, you know what? We're all of us are getting one. Our guest, Scott Slade, great stuff as always. Mickey Sudo, the world's greatest female competitive eater. She joins us live. She gets a star of the show. Best of luck to her on the Nathan's Hot Dog Contest. Janelle Marte, Karen Travers, Rory O'Neill. All right, tomorrow we're going to update the big breaking news on the big budget bill and all the top local stories you can handle. Social media is active. We got them at Mark Arum. Stay safe. Have a great Tuesday, Atlanta.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard, sponsored by Ragsdale Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical.
There are ugly scams that are growing all over